Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week in Dickson, Tennessee, when two people go missing, one turns up dead and the other turns out to be not who everyone thought they were. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, everybody. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, an immense amount for joining us this week again. Wow, we are excited for another wild episode.
Yeah.
We have an absolutely insane episode for you this week. It's definitely one of the more wild ones with a person that we'll all hate a lot. So that'll be a good time there. Before that, though, just want to thank everybody for everything this week. First of all, Apple Podcast reviews. Everybody, everything, they've done lots of stuff for us.
Everybody for everything.
Everybody for everything they've done for us. Apple Podcast reviews. Thank you so much for those. They help a lot, and we don't know why. Right. It drives you up the charts, and that's important to get eyeballs on you. It gets you more listeners. So if you haven't done it yet, please give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. Yeah. Get on there. Just say they're forcing me to do this. Yeah. That's good enough.
Just trying to get some balls on them.
That's all. Words can't fix us. Put it that way.
That's
so
true.
Thank you very much for doing that. It does help us out a lot. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your merchandising needs, everything. There's so much new stuff up there. I know Sarah's been working on some new designs. There's a new Cheer Up Bitch design. That's
great.
Pretty damn awesome with a skeleton hand thing. It's pretty sweet. So check all that out. Also, you can get all your tickets there. Rest of 2019 is all sold out right now.
Oh, I'm so glad.
The next 6 more shows this year are all sold out. Next year,
so amazing.
You are. Next year, the April in Nashville is sold out. And also the next night, though, there are some tickets left for Crime and Sports. If you're not listening to Crime and Sports, I don't know what you're doing, because it's awesome and you need to listen to it. Listen to this week's and you'll find out what happened to the other Jackson children who didn't make the 5.
I'm so glad we found out.
We found out there was more than you know about, and we have we found out how many Jackson kids there were and how what their fate was. So you can tune into that and hear it. Listen to that.
Boy, was that so much fun.
It was amazing. And if you want to be a hero of ours, an absolute, just someone we can't thank you enough, or one of our producers, important people to this show, who will be gushed about at the end in the shout outs, you can do that very easily by going to patreon.com/crimeandsports, or head over to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. And you can get to those places where, Jimmy?
Over at shutupandgivememurder.com.
It's so easy. It's so easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, thank you guys for everything like that you do there. This week, if you're listening the day this comes out, we are going to be in Kansas City tonight. That's sold out, but we're excited to see you guys.
Can't wait.
See you in St. Louis on Friday.
Yeah.
And no tickets available. But,
Nothing.
But I don't know why I mentioned it then. I just wanted to thank them for coming. But it doesn't matter.
I want a guest list for like rappers from St. Louis and Missouri.
Yeah, there's a lot from
Tech
Missouri.
Nine and
sure, come on out.
Nelly.
There you go.
Come on through.
Nelly, you're invited.
Bring your St. Lunatics.
Just we don't have a lot of room. So don't bring all of these people.
I don't know how many guys.
Nelly plus one.
Listen,
you're invited.
Right.
All right.
There might be only one St. Lunatic left.
Nelly,
we don't know.
Nelly plus one. I don't know. Bring your mom. I don't know what to tell you, Nelly. But either way.
You're not going to bring the guy that you wear the Band-Aid for.
I'm not sure. I don't know what Nelly's up to, but we're inviting him. There he is. So besides that, though, got to do the disclaimer very quickly. This is a comedy show. It's a comedy podcast. Yeah. We do have to warn you, there will be jokes.
Yeah, sure.
That's the thing, because it has got all the facts are real. The story is 1,000% real. Nothing's made up for comedic purposes, but we are going to make jokes. We're going to make a lot of jokes at the expense of like a small town or a murderer who we want to make fun of. Why not make fun of a murderer?
Eat all the shit.
That's right. But we try not to do. What we go out of our way not to do here is to make fun of the victim or the victim's family. We try not to do that because we're assholes. But we're not scumbags.
Now you're talking.
That's how it works here. So we think that makes it okay. And let's make fun of some murderers and have some fun. If you don't think true crime and comedy go together, this isn't going to work for you. This isn't for you. This is like if you're, I like blondes and someone's a brunette and you're like, I just don't like brunettes. Well, then you're not going to like us. So what are we talking about? Yeah, we're a brunette. And that's sorry,
roll
guys.
out.
Sorry, we're just as pretty, but we're not to your taste, and that's fine. We understand that, so that's fine. Move along. For the rest of you though, who like a brunette or who are going on substance, damn it, you guys should stand atop of your cubicle, scream from the exercise, whatever the hell you're doing, and shout, "Shut up and give me murder!" Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
Wonderful.
What do you say? Let's do this. We're coming from the West Coast. We were all the way in Oregon last week. Yeah, that craziness out there.
Shit.
Everything. The Barton Millhouse's ritual killing last week, which was a wild episode. But this week we're going to go all the way back to the east. And we're going to go to Tennessee.
Oh,
down south. Yeah, where we will be in April.
It's been a minute since we've been there.
It has, as a matter of fact. We're going to Dickson, Tennessee.
Okay.
Dickson.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. Not D-I-X?
No.
An actual Dick.
Dick.
Yeah.
Son.
All right.
That's it. Dickson, Tennessee. Son of Dick. That's in North Central Tennessee. Yeah. This is up there.
Little Dick, Tennessee.
Little Dick, Tennessee. Yeah. This is some rural shit out here. Okay. I mean, this is you can get to Nashville pretty quickly, but it's out there, as we'll talk about. It's 45 minutes west of Nashville, where we'll be on April 7th and 8th. Tickets still available for Crime and Sports on April 8th.
That's all.
That's all, though.
It's almost gone, too.
Almost gone.
You better hurry.
2 hours and 45 minutes to Memphis.
Okay.
If you want to get murdered.
Yeah.
If you look at all the murders from Tennessee,
Memphis
it's
is
just
wild, man.
so much.
Yeah.
I read multiple murders where people were killed for less than $10.
Really?
Multiple murder cases where one man was killed for $3.
Wowza.
And I'm like, killed and left on the street for $3. And like, that's a lot, man. That's a rough town.
Well, West Memphis is fucking grimy.
Yeah, well, I mean, $3
Is
though?
West Memphis in Arkansas?
I
think it is.
Yeah, that's a different area, but like Memphis, it's proper here. It is $3.
It's grimy too. Yeah,
$3.
That makes sense.
I mean, you would leave the house with $3 and be like, "Well, I mean, it's just $3. No one's going to rob me."
Have you been to Beale Street? Is it Beale Street? I think it's Beale Street in Memphis. You can get a beer for $3.
Well, there you go. Someone got a beer.
Sometimes it's worth it.
$2.45 to some murdery beer in Memphis, and 50 minutes to Brentwood, Tennessee, which was episode 90.
There you go. The tug closet.
Episode 90, October 17th, 2018. So basically a year ago, exactly, almost here. This is in Dickson County. So Dickson and Dickson County.
That was a fucking year ago.
That was a year ago, Jimmy. That was a while back. Yeah, doesn't seem like it.
Wow.
But time flies when you're not sleeping and doing too many shows.
Time flies when you fly too much.
That's it right there. Zip code 37055, area code 615. It's about 20 square miles, so it's a big area. It's pretty rural. There's big properties, there's farms and things like that here. They're not even creative with the motto. So I didn't make one up either because they chose They
mailed it in, so did you.
Yeah, this is what they did. A great place to live, work, and play, which is from everywhere. They just stole it. So a shit town, listen for banjos, you're going to get raped in the woods, blah, blah, blah. There, that's my motto. I put as much effort into it as they did. You know what I mean? That's it. Watch out. Watch out for man-on-man fucking woods action. Other than that, I don't know what to tell you. So, history of this town. That's as
hacky as a great place to be from.
That's what I mean. Yeah, great place to live, work, and play. Right. Like they just took that from some community center's outside sign, and they're like, "We'll use that for our town. We don't have to pay one of them firms to come up with something."
Thanks, YMCA.
Thanks, thank you. They just Googled town mottos, and they're like, "I like this one. Hey, Tom, look at this one." Oh, work and play? They added play in there. I think that's good. People know they can do things.
It's number one, so we should take it, right?
I think we should, yeah. So it was named for Congressman William Dickson, who was pretty boring. I looked him up. He was a congressman in like the early 1800s.
Oh my God.
Real boring shit. And he was like a physician from Nashville.
A doctor?
Very boring. Yeah, very, very boring here. It was created in 1803, the county. It was the 25th of 95 counties that they created in Tennessee. And William Dickson was a Nashville physician who was serving in the Congress. Well, Congress back then would be like a prominent guy from the town would be the congressman.
Just a few dudes with some money.
That's all it was. Yeah, the prominent guy who everybody was like, "Oh, he seems to know people."
I trust him.
Look at that. Look at how he wears a suit.
Right.
It's really
he knows where my liver is.
Yeah, he's got a pocket square. I don't have a pocket square, so I'm going to let him do it.
Right.
You know, the guy with the pocket square gets to go to Washington. I feel like
the man
back in the
picked
day.
meat out of his teeth after his meal.
That's
clearly we trust him.
That's class.
Yeah,
that's pure. He did it right at the table too to show us how classy he was. He showed us how classy he was. He did it right at the table. I like that.
He even spit it out.
That's the thing.
He popped it.
He's like,
right into the bread dish.
He said, "I don't need this." I mean, he could have swallowed it, but that would have been like, "Hey, I want the extra nutrition." But he said, "I'm fine. I'll get more food later.
I'm full.
I'll get more later. I don't need to save it for later." He could have put it in his cheek like a chipmunk for later, but he didn't. That's the important thing, you know what I mean? So, Dickson was a close friend of President Andrew Jackson.
Oh, so all right.
He's, I'm sure, a very nice man.
I'm sure
obviously.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, obviously.
He's a physician for
he's a physician for some of the population, we'll say.
For some people.
For some people. Some welcome. So, a general...
Some walk-ins welcome.
Some walk-ins welcome. This is the racially well area.
Yes. Racially well check.
This is the racially well check here. Oh, no, that's the... We just never go into the racially not well area. Those people die in there. That's how we would do it. Awful.
Oh, that's so funny.
So, Jesus, terrible people. So, we have no idea if that's true, but it probably was, though. If he's
pretty good assumption.
Andrew Jackson. Yeah. Andrew Jackson was kind of a mean dick. So that's not really subjective. Right. It's pretty objective.
And he may have been a great guy. It's just he happened to be white, so Andrew Jackson liked him.
I'm friends with assholes.
Right.
I'm sure I'm friends with terrible people before. Well, I mean, I've known a lot of terrible
You
people.
You sit next to one every week.
Neither of us are great. General James Robertson built the first ironworks in West Tennessee in Dickson County here. And then he sold his furnace. Selling off the furnace, Jimmy. I'm moving on to Montgomery Bell, who became one of the state's big capitalists and industrialists and one of the wealthiest people in the area here.
That's a man's name?
That's Montgomery Bell,
Jesus.
which sounds like a phone company.
Sounds like a ship.
Yeah, the Montgomery Bell.
Yeah.
It's a very large
That's
ship.
amazing.
There was a 250, there's a place called the Ruskin Colony is what it was. It was a 250-member utopian socialist cooperative.
Yeah.
So basically, picture, late 60s, like farm hippies living in, cooperative type situations, except in the 1800s.
Wow.
So with less plumbing.
Yeah.
Even less plumbing.
Somehow smellier.
Even stinkier and hairier.
Oh, boy.
The hair and the stink
my God.
coming from here. It's very humid there, too. This isn't, Northern California.
No.
This is some humid...
it's
this
horrible.
is pungent.
Yeah.
Your taint is going to be rotten after 3 weeks in a place like this.
The smell is chewy.
It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
It was around this area in Dickson County, but there was internal conflict, and that brought a dissolution of the colony by 1899. So they, people fight when they try to. Utopia brings fighting.
Well.
Your version of perfect and someone else's version of perfect might not be exactly perfect.
Usually vastly different.
And if you're going for utopia, that means it has to be perfect. So that would have to mean it would be perfect to everybody.
Right.
And there's never going to be a group of people who agree on every little detail to be perfect. No. So you can only build a utopian society with yourself.
Right.
And maybe like your dog.
Yeah.
Your dog will go along with your bullshit.
Yeah, they'll do whatever.
No one else will care. But your dog will be like, all right, whatever.
Either a dog or a dumber species.
He's got food.
You know what I mean?
Something dumber than that.
Something that requires much more
A cat will ditch you, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
They're not putting up with this bullshit.
This is perfect to you? Fuck
no,
you.
I don't think so. This is not a good place to lick my ass. I'm going to go somewhere else. So they started, the newspaper was relocated here, a socialist communist news, communalist, not communist, newspaper, which was, espousing this utopian type of society here, called The Coming Nation was there, and that was moved. There was another one that became Appeal to Reason, which is known for politics that gave support to the Farmers Alliance and People's Party, and then that became, they kind of folded into the Socialist Party of America. So there's a lot of that comes from this area, which is weird. You wouldn't think of that sort of thing in Tennessee.
Right.
But, who knows? In 1917, they had a big meeting at the Alamo Theater in Dickson to raise $760.
That's what they needed?
They need $760. This is the equivalent of about $25,000 now.
Okay.
To pay for the surveying of the Bristol to Memphis highway to go through Dickson County. And the money was raised in less than 15 minutes. People threw money into a hat, and state highway surveyors did it, and they built the highway here. It's Route 70 or Highway 70, and they call it Broadway of America, which is really not true. Also, it's not. There's no Broadway. This is through the fucking mountains in the woods of Tennessee. If you've ever been there, there's nothing Broadway about that shit. Ooh, look at that gas station shine off to the side. Yeah. Look at that man's tooth sparkle. Just the one. Now, notable people from this town. Luke Perry is apparently from here. Yeah. Old Dylan.
He's dead.
He's dead and from here, apparently. I'd say we could ask him, but it's not going to work.
No.
But I have 2 resident reviews of the place.
Okay.
They didn't seem to like it very much.
No.
Here's one. Quote, been here a bit less than a year, but a lot of uneducated people here, a lot of ignorance and general lack of caring for people around them. I can't say it is my favorite place I've ever lived, but the cost of living is not terrible, which is a plus.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
It's cheap.
We'll put up with a lot.
Right.
That's what, by the way, if you've ever been to Omaha,
I knew it was coming.
just get out of the car, walk up to a person and go, why do you live here? And they go, it's pretty cheap. I asked 50 people because it became a pattern of what do you like about this
you
place?
You asked 400 at once.
Exactly. But I mean, like individually, it became a pattern like Uber drivers. Like, do you like it here? And they'd be like, it's cheap. And we're like, that's weird. It was the same answer from everybody. So then it had to become a thing. And no one said, I like this, I like that. It's pretty. The weather's nice. Right. It's this. There's good people. It's nice culture. it's pretty cheap to live here. Okay, well, that's not enough.
No.
You can move. There's cheaper places. Why don't you move there? They're even worse.
Yeah.
You know, you can move to the middle of Mississippi somewhere. It doesn't cost anything to live there.
Why is it cheap, James?
Because it's fucking terrible. That's why. That's why it's cheap.
It's cheap because nobody wants it.
Nobody wants it. It's godforsaken land. We don't need it or want it.
Think about something expensive. It's because everybody wants it.
That's why I mean.
It's expensive.
What's expensive? Shit by the ocean.
Right.
Why? Because people like the ocean. People don't want to look at a dusty plane. Some people do.
And you know, it's
and they
not,
can get a good deal.
You could take that for any product that exists anywhere. Why is it expensive? Because people want it.
That's it right there.
Why
That's
is
all.
the cheap shit cheap? Because nobody fucking wants it.
No, I don't want to live somewhere where it's like, where's the water? Well, never mind.
Right.
That's too far.
There's a reason it's really easy to buy a Fiat.
Yeah, and we live in the desert.
Right.
That's why it's pretty cheap to live here.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Nobody wants
Nobody
it.
wants it. So trust me, we understand why you're there. I found another review. Actually, it's 3 reviews here. This the first one, and then here's 2 by the same person. One they added later, which is pretty funny. Quote, because of the corruption, there are not any neighborhood watch groups, and if the police feel as though you're a threat, they will terrorize you. That's one. And then the next one, again, due to the corruption in the area, one does not know who to trust. 1 star.
What?
I don't know. It's very...
That
Apparently
is fucking vague.
There's some real vague...
Open up, please. I'm scared to death.
There's some real vague, some
You
ambiguous...
can't even trust the cops here.
No, one does not... This one, he just said, one does not know who to trust. That's all I need to say.
Jesus.
Real dark, weird shit here. Now, people in this town, in about 1900, there was 1,300 people here. Mm-hmm. And as of right now, there is 15,128 people here.
Yeah.
Up 72% since 1990.
It is crushing.
Well, I think it's because it's within an hour of Nashville.
Right.
So I think
Nashville is crazy right now.
Nashville's really
Holy
swelling.
shit.
So I think this is people just moving out to a cheaper suburb.
Yeah. You've heard that they call it Nash Vegas, right?
I know.
That is a thing.
And I'm happy that I haven't heard that because you know what? No.
Fuck Vegas too.
No, fuck Vegas, but Nashville, you have about 30 steps to go till you get to Vegas to be that awful. Sorry.
They call it that because both sides of that strip Broadway have the same thing on either side of the fucking road.
And if you ask
Just like
anybody,
Vegas.
what is there to do? They all have the same answer. Y'all like hot chicken? If that's your attraction, hot chicken and fucking country open mics. Sorry, that's not Vegas or anything else.
Right.
You have, I don't even know. You have Bloomington, Iowa, or Idaho, wherever the fuck it is, Indiana. Where the fuck is Bloomington? Indiana. You're Bloomington, Indiana.
The fuck is Bloomington?
With more country open mics and way more hot chicken. Speaking of that, April 8th will be in Nashville at Zany's with Crime and Sports. Be there. We love doing shows in Nashville, but don't try to act like you're a good city. Just don't. Sorry. Now,
and also, Vegas is not a good city. That place
it's terrible.
Is
Vegas
horrible.
is awful.
It
it's
is an
repulsive.
armpit and disgusting.
Any place where everybody's opinion of it is like, it's not bad for the first 36 hours, and then you want to kill yourself. That's not a good city.
A weekend will test your. It will try your fucking depression.
You will want to off yourself.
Oh God,
though.
Christ!
Absolutely,
it's the worst.
The what was the Nicolas Cage where he goes to Vegas to drink himself to death? What was the one with him and Elizabeth Shue and he goes to drink?
I didn't see it.
He won a goddamn Academy Award.
I didn't see it.
I don't remember. It's got Las Vegas in the title, I believe. But he's, he goes to Vegas to hang out with a prostitute and drink himself to death.
Oh.
It was a big movie.
That sounds great.
96-ish, I think. Yeah, he's depressed. He's a mess. Anyway.
It's a great time.
About 54% females in this town, which is odd because the ages aren't that off. Normally, that's always a lot of old people with that many females. There's more kids and more old people, and it balances out to an average median age like the rest of the country, about 37 years old. Married population's a lot lower. It's about 42%. Normally it's about 50-50. So I don't know why. That's a strange fact. Also, more single people with children than normal. 25% of people are single with children and more single with no children. So just more single people in general in both capacity. Race of this town, it's about 84% white. So it's pretty white for Tennessee. 6.2% black, 0.7% Asian. You almost made it. Almost got to 1% here. 5.7% Hispanic. So not well under the average of 17%. So pretty white. Normally religion, it's 50-50, whether they're religious. Here, 43% religious.
Yeah.
Not what you expected. That's why I think you're getting a lot of Nashville suburb move-in. Move-in people who
commuters.
People who move to Nashville from somewhere else and commute from here. That's what I'm feeling, a lot of that. But it was about 18% Baptist, because as we know, Baptists are the Catholics of the South, obviously. Some Catholics, a couple, not many. Some Methodists and Pentecostals and all that good shit mixed in here. 0.0% Jewish, though.
Interesting.
Not fucking around with this town. 0.0% Muslim as well. Last election, this county, it's a conservative kind of rural county here, 25% Democrat and 71% Republican in the last election.
Wow.
So pretty landslidey. Unemployment rate's about average. It's a little under 4, except the household income is much less. Normally it's almost $58,000 in the rest of the country. Here it is $40,000.
Oh no.
That's low. 38% of the people make under 30 grand a year.
How?
That's rough. That's
high.
That's a lot of people.
Almost 40%.
That's almost 38% make under 30 grand a year. So it's that kind of place where there's certain people that I feel like there's people that have lived there for a long time that don't have a lot of money, and then there's people who have just moved there who have good jobs in Nashville.
Got it.
There's probably
They want to hang on to their money.
Yeah, I feel like there's two sides to this town. It's one of those sides. Like that's the other side of the tracks kind of thing. And then we have the new neighborhoods that they've built that are less shitty, possibly. That's just what I'm gleaning from everything I read. Jobs in this town, there's a few more manufacturing jobs than normal, a couple more social services, healthcare type of things for the old people that are there. But otherwise, it's pretty average. Cost of living, average is 100, regular. Here, 100. So
right in there.
Right on the money of cost of living. Housing's a little bit low, 84 housing. The median home cost here, $171,500.
Still a lot of money.
It's still high, but the rest of the country, it's 231.
Yeah,
so
but for somebody making under 30 grand, that's a motherfucker.
That's going to be tough. Yeah, that's going to be brutal here. And a lot of the houses, there are houses, about 30% of them are between 100 and 150, so you can get kind of a lower priced house. And if you're looking for one, I may have found it for you, because I have for you the Dickson, Tennessee Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here is about $920, so that's under the average.
Well under.
Well under. It's about $1,250, I think, normally. Here, I found a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,300 square foot home that needs some work. Yeah. If you know what you're doing and can put a little elbow grease into it, you can pull this one off. $90,000.
Okay.
So that's, if you're looking for a value home here. If you want to just pitch a tent, I found a 5.9 acre lot. Its address is 0 Turkey Creek Road. Which is awesome. That's the only reason why I had to include this. 0 Turkey Creek Road. $34,999.
Fucking zero.
0 Turkey Creek, baby. I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,680-foot, nice kind of family house, $209,900.
Yeah.
So that's like a nice little suburban family house. And then you want to stretch your shit out.
Hell yeah.
I found a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, 2,650 square foot, nice brick house with a big yard, nice neighborhood, $387,900.
Okay.
Yes, not bad. But 0 Turkey Creek Road.
I can't get enough of that address.
It's really,
I really want that address.
It's only 35 grand, $34,999.
How many acres?
5.9 acres of woods.
God damn it.
6 acres of ticks and chiggers as far as the eye can see.
Deer flies.
Snakes and all sorts of terrible things living there.
Mosquitoes.
But it's all yours for 35 grand.
You're going to need an off candle for sure.
You're going to need to douse yourself in deep woods off. You're going to need to just get a hose and have someone.
Do they deep woods a candle? Because you're gonna need it.
Well, I feel like you just get like the spray, like a spray tan machine, but you fill it with deep woods off. Just have someone coat you down.
Well, what you do, you get that sprayer, and then you get a Bic lighter, and then you fucking just light
Walk in front of you with a shield of flame. That's not a bad idea. I like that.
Deep woods off flamethrower.
That's something.
You're going to
That
need
shit's
it.
mad flammable, I'm telling you. Now, things to do here. I found Old Timers Day. Oh boy. Now, Old Timers Day, I'll read right from their website here. Old Timers Day was established to honor old timers within our community. And old timers is in quotes for some reason. I don't know why. Old timers within our capitalized and within quotes.
Is it because it's for people that don't know how to pronounce Alzheimer's?
Maybe. All of our old timers who don't know where they won't remember it, but they're going to have a good time. The festival remains to be one of the few, quote, old time, again in quotes, festivals, not only in Tennessee, but throughout the entire southeast region. For the wonderful 59th celebration, the city of Dickson and Dickson County Chamber of Commerce are partnering to provide a series of musical events, various, quote, old time games. I don't know why that's quote. Kids Corner, and the Robert Spicer Memorial Buck Dance Competition.
Buck Dance?
Buck Dance. Now, the Robert Spicer Memorial Buck is all capitalized, and then dance competition isn't. So I don't know.
Memorial Buck?
Memorial. The Robert Spicer Memorial Buck Dance.
I don't know what that is.
So
Robert's clearly not with us anymore.
No, it's Memorial.
He's gone as fuck.
Let's break it down.
Yeah.
Robert's gone. Okay. He's no part of this. But Robert Spicer was apparently somebody very important in the buck dancing community.
Yeah. What is a buck dance?
A buck dance. You all put horns on and dance? I don't know what that is, but I don't want to see it. There's also a quilt show.
Yeah.
Which is, there will be a quilt show, which includes observing ladies dressed in period performing their version of old-fashioned quilting.
In period.
Yeah, it's a theatrical
plenty of
term.
jokes.
Yeah, plenty of jokes there. Living history demonstrators dressed in period, providing a Civil War demonstration with a replica of a Civil War camp. It's so hard to just not say anything about that. Other living history demonstrators will also be in period dress. At least they put dress there. I just picture that thick burlap one that I put. I'm just going to wear this dress.
Here's my period dress.
My period dress. Hey, we held out till the third paragraph of period references before we made a joke. So you know what? Eat dicks.
And for all outfits, a dress is the most appropriate for your period.
That's right. I guess. I don't know.
It feels like it'd be the cleanest.
I don't even know where to start with that.
That seems the most sanitary.
Possibly. They're going to be weaving baskets, Jimmy, in this dress. Doing laundry by hand.
Okay.
Let's watch the ladies do laundry by hand while they got their periods.
Seems
That's what people are going to say. Oh, she's washing it. Look, I think that stain might come out now. Oh, there it goes. All right. Who's watching that? Making candles, brooms, and walking sticks, and much more, stressing the importance of preserving our history. The parade will be filled with floats, horse-drawn wagons, and much more for your enjoyment. The day will be filled for your family's complete enjoyment. Yeah. That's the two sentences, end in enjoyment. This is a terrible website.
Everything for old timers.
And 14 mentions of the word period.
Yeah.
Not great. But we still don't know what an old timer is.
No.
But whatever.
And they don't get it. They don't understand that you can't say period that much.
That's so many periods. You can say they'll be in period dress one time, and we'll go, oh, and that's it. But if you say in every sentence, eventually there's going to be jokes.
It's too much.
We just can't. Now, crime rate in this town, what we're interested in here. Property crime, this is wild. Property crime, more than double the average.
Fuck.
More than double national average. So that is as high as we've seen. Mm-hmm. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault. How can you forget assault, Jimmy? The Mount Rushmore of crime, double the national average.
Yeah.
What the shit is going on in this town?
It's dangerous.
These old timers will cut you. They will cut a bitch. I'll tell you that right now.
They're still getting their period.
Yeah, that's right. You see this dress? Makes me angry. I'm going to cut you.
When I'm wearing this dress, it's a bad day.
It's a bad day. Watch out. Whipping out a switchblade. Let's talk about a murder.
All right.
What do you say here? Let's get down to some murdery business.
All right.
What we're here for, honestly. Let's do this. Let's go back in time a bit in Dickson. We're going to go back to October 1st, 1995. Okay. Not too far back, but almost 25 years now. 24 years. 24 years of that.
Jesus.
Seems like a lot of times. We'll go back in time. Pulp Fiction was out for like a year at this point.
That's so long ago.
Yeah, think about this. I think Kurt Cobain was just dead or barely alive.
Yeah.
Almost. I mean, this is the time period we're in here. So this is, doesn't seem like that long
Biggie
ago.
and Bone are putting songs together.
Oh, yeah. No, Biggie's he's alive and kicking.
Yeah.
He's doing mixtape shit right now.
Bone still matters.
Oh, second album hadn't even come out yet for Biggie. He's doing great.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So we're going back to then October 1st, 1995. Let's talk about a lady. Yeah. Let's talk about Virginia Jackson, but never mind Virginia. We'll call her Jenny. Everybody calls her Jenny, which I would think
seems popular.
Virginia would be Jenny, but everybody calls her Jenny.
Well, it is the South.
Yeah, maybe she likes, but usually they'd call Jenny because they call pens pins.
Yeah.
Give me that ink pen.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck is an ink pen? I don't know what an ink pen is. To write with. Oh, a pen. That's an E in that word. Yeah, right. That's why I messed it up. So, Jenny Jackson here. Jenny Jackson, she's 43 years old in 1995, and she is, we'll talk about this. She goes missing. Her family files a missing person report for her on October 1st, 1995, and with law enforcement, they didn't hear from her for a few days. Mm-hmm. Jenny's kind of an alcoholic, so she will wander.
Okay.
That's the thing. So if she takes off for a couple days, this isn't automatic. Let's call the National Guard here. It's, let's hope Jenny's not asleep in a ditch somewhere. That's kind of where their family's at.
Let's hope she is.
She's got a teenage daughter who, says she's kind of rough at times with Jenny, which we'll talk about here. But they file a missing persons report. And before this, October 1st, 1995 is the missing persons report. The day before, Jackson's brother-in-law saw a pile of clothing lying along a farm road that leads to her house, eventually, to Jenny's house. Mm-hmm. And he didn't connect anything to it because on this farm road, some of the local residents dump garbage there because that's where you want to dump your garbage, along the farm road, if you live around there. Right. So he thought maybe somebody just dumped some garbage there and whatever. So
was it a period dress?
I think it was a burlap period dress with a full basket weaving setup next to it. So it should have given it away exactly who it is. It's from the old timers' day. But who is Jenny? Let's figure out who Jenny is here. Jenny is she's 43 years old, like I said. her family's a prominent family. Yeah. She is from a wealthy and respected family.
The Jacksons.
So we'll get into it. The Jacksons, the non-singing Jacksons who don't have children buried under their home like the actual Jacksons. Oh, I gave it away. Got to listen to Crime and Sports to find out about the Jacksons. But revelations in that family in Crime and Sports. We found them. So Jackson was, she has 6 brothers and sisters.
Oh, my.
So it's a big family, but not a big family in a way of, they're all over the place. They can't take care of them. It's a big family in terms of, I'd like heirs to carry out my name and my, that's that kind of big family. Like, well, we have this big house and all this money.
Right.
We should have more children.
With all this room, we need to fill it with bodies.
With more and more and more children.
Good Lord.
She's born to, her parents are Margaret Phillips Jackson and Dr. William M. Jackson.
Oh.
Her dad's a doctor. Yep. Her father was killed in 1981 in a car accident.
Oh, shit.
So she was an adult at that point, but barely. She was, in her late teens. Yeah. He was one of 3 physician brothers who founded the Good Lark Hospital in 1958. So the hospital, which turned into a regional medical center, sold earlier in 1995 for $103 million.
Oh, they are crushing.
So they're very wealthy people. They lived on and they were wealthy before that, just from all the business,
from
doctoring and from owning this hospital and all that sort of thing. So now they're really wealthy. So a bunch of her cousins and other relatives of hers work at the hospital. At that point, it was later on renamed Horizon Medical Center there. Her brother, Andy, works at the county's juvenile and probate court as a judge. So he's a judge. These people are doctors and administrators in a hospital. Jenny went to cosmetology school.
Hell yeah.
But her cousin of hers said she didn't work very long, though, doing that. Maybe that's because she's very rich. And it's probably hard to focus.
Right.
When you have a giant trust fund, it might be hard to focus on what some fucking lady wants her, on her eyes.
Yeah, but also, I mean,
what shade of shit she wants on her eyes.
The interesting part is just that she's doing cosmetology school, which sounds lazy, but it's really not.
Oh, it's not lazy.
God, it's such a hard fucking thing.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
But in terms of comparing that to judge life, like it's a much easier transition.
It's a much easier
trajectory.
path to it. There's no law school and then doing this for a long time and doing that.
It's just interesting that she's probably the black sheep and doesn't have as much motivation to be a world changer.
And that's the other thing too. She's got some issues with alcohol and with things like that, but everyone says how nice she is. She's a very nice person. She is divorced. She has a 20-year-old daughter at this point and a 16-year-old son. And she's trying, but she's not, a lot of people do. They struggle. Everybody struggles. It's a hard thing. And if you have a problem with alcohol too, you're trying to also, too, she's trying not to embarrass her family all the time and that sort of thing here. The main thing everyone says about her over and over is one person here, Mary Buckner, says, quote, she was, quote, very pretty, very lovable, very outgoing. Okay. So everybody kind of says about her. Her friend, Lisa, said that she, quote, never met a stranger. She always thought everybody was okay and everybody was her friend, which is nice. But dangerous also in this world. Yeah, in this world, it's very dangerous. They say that, a very friendly nature where you're willing to talk to anybody and anybody's your friend mixed with being an alcoholic is a dangerous mix. You could end up in places that are dangerous with dangerous people. So October 18th, her brother-in-law says, it just pops back in his head. He goes, that pile of clothes on the side. I don't know, man. Maybe that's something. Yeah. I'm just going to tell the cops because they still haven't found Jenny yet. This is, the 1st to October 18th. We're talking almost 3 weeks.
Right.
Then he said, I don't know, man. I mean, something, it could be something. So he reports that to law enforcement and says, that's what I found.
Yeah.
I don't know if it means anything, but maybe y'all want to look into it.
Right.
I would say. Now, on October 18th and 19th, law enforcement officials go and investigate the area by the found clothes and kind of deeper into the woods and trying to find things. And they find some items. They find hair clips, multicolored hair clips that matched the hair clips that Jenny was always seen wearing, and that she was seen wearing the last time she was seen. She has these multiple colored hair clips in her hair.
Right.
A cell phone, which it's 1995, so that lets you know that she must have some money.
Somebody had some cash.
She has some cash because I was a teenager, but I wouldn't have a cell phone phone was like, oh, what do you have to be the Pope to have a cell phone?
4 years later.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it took 99-ish for me to have one too. Yeah, I had a pager in 1995.
Yeah,
that was like
sure did.
That was fine. That was $10 bucks
sideways.
a month. No, it was a sideways one. It wasn't a top reader.
No,
We're not fucking riffraff
not
here.
a monster.
No, I'm not. I was a Motorola that you read on the thing and you could type words into it and
so
shit.
Dope.
Yeah, it was hot shit.
That was kind of a big deal.
It was kind of cool when you were a teenager. Put it in your pocket inside.
Multiple rings,
That's
not
right.
just ring or vibrate.
No.
I've got like 9 different rings.
And the different ones that you could set for different people. So you'd be like, oh, it's 2 longs and a short. Like I got some Morse code shit going on here.
Clearly that's a booty call.
Must be my mom.
I gotta run.
So, they find hair clips and a cell phone, which are personal items, of expensive cell phone and clips that are in your hair or, for them to not be on your body is weird. A pair of panties, a pillow, a sweatshirt, and a sock.
It's a weird bunch to be together.
It's a weird bunch of shit to
Usually
be together.
People don't throw that group of things out the window as they're driving down the road.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, I want one sock, so I'm going to keep that, but I'll throw this sock, and I hate my phone, and I don't want my underwear on anymore.
They are so uncomfortable.
And I'm a little hot for this sweatshirt.
Right.
So all that's going out the window, and I'm putting my hair down.
Yeah.
There we go. Put this pillow down, take a nice nap. Nope, I don't want that either. Throw that out the window. So I don't know what's going on. So she's missing. They find some things in a farm road that leads to her house, so they're a little bit worried, obviously, and wondering why would she have thrown these things out. So it's at this point that they realize there's another missing person as well, reported missing around the same time. This is a man named Jerry Ray Davidson.
Yeah.
And he is born on June 12th, 1943. Share a birthday with this guy. He's 52 years old at this point in time. He lives with his mother, Aileen, which he's 52 when he lives with his mother. That's a problem, especially we'll find out she's not disabled or anything.
She's not helping him.
He's not helping her. It's not like she's like, well, she can't go to the bathroom on her own, so he's a nice boy who helps her. He just hangs out there.
And also the other opposite way. He doesn't need her to get by either.
Oh, I think he does. Let's find out. Yeah, it seems like he does. So,
no, but I mean, he's not disabled also.
No. Neither of them. No, that's
he's got both his eyes.
Yeah, no, he isn't like he's, he had an accident when he was younger and he's never been able to go out on his own or anything like that. No, he's perfectly fine, able-bodied. He's just a disaster a little bit. We'll talk about him.
Got it.
He on the 25th of September, he failed to come home. This is around the last time that Jenny was seen as well. It was the 25th or 26th of September that her family saw her when they reported her missing. Now, his mother, Aileen, became worried after a few days and filed a missing person report with the cops. So the same thing as Jenny here. But October 8th, 1995, Jerry Ray Davidson, he phoned his mom and told her that he was going to stop by the house. And he didn't know there was a missing persons, report out on him and stuff. He told his mother that some creditors might be calling on him and he might owe a few bucks and they're kind of trying to track him down. So he was going to lay low for a little while and chill out and avoid these creditors. He said he's all right, but he's in Knoxville. And, he's avoiding these people because he owes big money, Jimmie. You have no idea the kind of money he owes. Somebody fronted him a 12-pack of Pabst, and he's very on the line for it.
Yeah, $200 fuel card, maxed out.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going to, whatever. So he's in Knoxville. He's all right. Mom, I'm cool. He stopped by the house before about a week later, and his mom, Aileen, gave him some money. And he also retrieved some clothes and got the camper top for his red pickup truck. He's got a red pickup truck, wanted to put the cap on the back of it there. So who the hell is Jerry Ray Davidson? He is sort of the opposite of Jenny. She comes from a prominent family with a good background. His background is shit.
It's a pickup truck camper. That's his background.
His familial background is whatever, it's average, but his actual personal history and background is a huge steaming pile of donkey shit. He's an asshole. Let's talk about this. On December 6th, 1969, he sexually assaulted an underage girl at that point. In January of 1971, he was found guilty of assault and battery with intent to rape. He was sentenced to serve 10 years in prison, but he escaped from prison on September 12th, 1971. Okay. escaped from prison. Now, after he's captured from the escape, he pleads guilty and was sentenced to serve 1 year along with his existing sentence. But later on that year, while he was out before he was sentenced, January 1971, he sentenced. Right before he sentenced, January 21st, 1971, he encounters a guy named Charles Hutton. Okay, let's talk about Charles Hutton and Jerry Ray Davidson. Charles Hutton graduated from Cumberland City High School, and he got a job at a plant locally.
Sure.
And he was, back then, 1971, you graduate high school, you get a job at the local plant. Hey, you're set.
Doing all right.
That's it. You can go get yourself a little house and a car and get married and have some kids, and that's America.
That ought to do it.
There you go. That ought to do it. Next thing you know, you're Daniel Stern's voicing you in the Wonder Years. It's fine.
I love it.
It's good shit. So he gets that. He gets a new car, buys a new car, and he has a date with a girl that he's been seeing for a while. So graduates, gets a job, gets a new car, wants to show his new car off to his girl that he's been seeing a little bit on the side, and blah, blah, blah. It seems like a nice thing. So they leave, they were from Stewart County, and they left to head south to a cafe. Now, after they ate dinner, his new car didn't work. Which, that 1971 American car. Yeah. Yay. So that didn't work. So he had trouble with his car. This is he couldn't just put in roadside assistance and be like, will you get over here quickly? I don't know where I am. Look at the fucking GPS, and then hang up. Like, this is before that. Right. You had to walk somewhere and figure some shit out at this point on your own.
This is an ordeal. This is a thing.
Oh, you're fucked.
Your whole night is this now.
That's it.
That's it.
What's that payphone? 3 miles away? Well, I got to get there.
How are we going to get this thing that doesn't move back to my house?
How are we going to get there?
And make it move in the morning.
That's what I mean. Right. And then put it somewhere else. And then how do we get... It's a disaster.
Right.
So he had trouble with his car. Luckily, they were still at the restaurant. There was only one other customer in the restaurant at the time, and that was Jerry Ray Davidson. So the guy said, hey, would you mind giving us a ride? My new car broke down and whatever. And the guy said, yeah, what the shit? Why not? Jerry Ray says, I'll take you home. That's fine. So they got near the farm that the Hutton family lived on. It was a local area farm. And at that point, Hutton says Davidson snapped, the way he put it. He says, quote, Hutton says, quote, we almost got to my parents' house in Cumberland City, and that's when he pulled over and pulled a gun on us, which is a huge...
What the shit?
Yeah. He said, it's like he had a split personality. I don't even think he knew what he wanted to do with us, so he just drove. That is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
You meet some guy at a diner. This is like a horror movie, a straight horror movie, like a young couple, their car breaks down at a diner. There's one dude sitting there sipping a cup of coffee by himself, and they're like, mister, will you give us a ride? And he's like, I got nowhere to be.
Lightning flash.
Yeah.
He goes, I'll give you a ride.
He's soaking wet and it's not raining.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's weird. It's just raining around him. One of those things, like, I'll give you a ride. And they hop in, and it's dark, and it's almost one of those things where you would think like it's going to be scary, but then he's like, pulls up and does something extra for you. He's like, I figured you'd want to, pull you right up to the house so you wouldn't get wet in the rain. Umbrella, like he's extra friendly. And if it was a comedy movie, but in a horror movie, you'd see
guts him with the umbrella.
Yeah, you'd see a sword would pop out of the end. You'd see the
umbrella goes through them, and then he opens the umbrella and leans them on the handle.
Yeah, right. Well, they'd have that shot of where it's the dark and they're in the woods, and you just see the light from the gauges. Yeah, the instrument panel light on his face, barely. One of those glows. It's one of those deals here.
The engine light on.
Yeah, dude, this is not okay. So he takes them, he goes off the road, drives off the road. Davidson forces Hutton and his girlfriend to walk through the woods to an abandoned barn.
What the hell is happening?
We've been here a couple times on Small Town Murder. Whenever there's an abandoned barn makes an appearance,
and you're walking there at gunpoint,
it's always bad news. A gunpoint barn walk is
boy.
No one's ever taken you to festively look at a barn at gunpoint. No one's ever said, I got a great new barn. Come on, let's go look at it. I said now, motherfucker. Right. This has never happened. Ever. Okay, I'm sure it's great. Yeah. I've never had anyone just excitedly pull a gun.
Look at the rails. There's no fucking...
Look at it.
Termites.
Look at how much hay I have. I don't know.
Not a termite to be seen.
Yes, but plenty of hay. So they get to the barn. He ties them up with rope that had held together bales of hay.
Yeah.
So he cuts off the, bales here. And they're in the dark here, okay? He ties them together.
Oh, boy.
Okay? Ties them together in the dark. And it's at this point that Davidson now sexually assaults his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So he says it's pitch black. He can't see anything.
And he can feel his girlfriend.
He can
being
feel
raped.
and feel and hear while he struggles and everything else while he rapes his girlfriend, which is crazy. He says, Hutton later on would say, quote, I still feel guilt over it, but I couldn't do anything to stop it. I just thought, why? Why did I ask him for help? He said that he was begging and pleading for his life. He said, quote, I just knew my last hours would be spent there. So Davidson told him to shut up and then left with the young woman.
Oh, Jesus.
Which, again, fucking terrifying.
Oh, my God.
Terrifying, leaves with her and tells him, quote, I'll be back for you.
Eesh.
Pitch black barn in the middle of nowhere. So I don't even know who's more frightened for who or who's more scared of what. So this is crazy. So he said that he was obviously scared that he would be shot or stabbed or murdered in some way, shape, or form. He strains and finally gets out of his restraints and actually cut up his wrists really bad in the process.
You're supposed to.
You do what you got to do to get out of that situation.
Right.
I mean,
you're faced with, sir.
People,
you're supposed to lose a hand if you have to.
To quote the RZA, I chewed my fucking arm off and made an escape.
Right.
There you go.
You do.
So you got to do what you got to do here.
Let's go, you sumbitch.
Let's do it. That one guy was trapped in the mountains or whatever. He cut some limb off.
You cut it off.
Shit. You cut some shit off.
You be a fucking man.
And then he untied his ankles from there. He fled the barn. And, of course, he's tripping and falling. And he's going through the pitch black woods. He doesn't even know where he is. He was brought here at gunpoint in the pitch black.
In the horror movie, he runs through the woods and then
he runs right into the guy.
Right.
Yeah, just standing there with a glow that comes from somewhere. But he's standing there just calmly waiting for him.
Right.
And
he runs into the knife. He doesn't even. He doesn't have to stab him.
No, the knife, and then he pops out from behind a tree.
Right.
There I am. That's what happened. So he says, quote, I didn't know which way to go in that county, but I just started running through the woods until daylight.
Oh, my God.
He just ran all night.
So many hours.
Through the woods.
Of just going.
Animals and everything else. Worried what's going on with my girlfriend. Is this, is she dead?
That's what's in your head the whole time.
The whole time. Yeah. And then am I going to die
animals.
too?
Who cares about animals?
Am I going to die before I even tell anybody about this?
I don't even care.
Well, it doesn't matter if you die and no one finds out about where she is, and you're not going to help her any. So you got to get out of here to help her. That's the point.
But the agony.
Boy. You're in a situation where if you don't find some fucking help, she's definitely going to be dead.
Yeah, that's
either way, either from him or exposure or something.
Is she dead yet? If I die, then she certainly will be.
That's the thing. Right. And this is December, or this is December. I said January before, but it's December. I meant. So it's cold. He said he didn't have on his coat.
Oh God.
And he was scared that he would, catch up to him. He was like, I thought he was going to catch up to me. He said, I just kept running as fast as I could all night. Eventually he found a house light on, and it was a family actually that took him in, gave him blankets and shit like that, and put him next to the fireplace, and called his parents. And his parents arrived, and then they went. By the way, no police yet.
No. Why wasn't that the first call?
I don't know. They call his parents. His parents come, and then they go over to his date's house to tell her parents that she's gone. Cops.
No,
Call the police.
What is happening?
Let them do all this shit. You can do it too, but let the cops get a head start on what's going on. So they said they all thought she was dead. They called the cops from there. They all thought she was dead. Turns out though, she was actually his car. Davidson's car runs out of gas, and he flags down a passing car when he does that. And she was rescued from a gas station. She took off when somebody came in a car. She took off, which led Davidson to take off and lead authorities on a 3-state, several-week manhunt.
Oh, my God. Where'd they catch him?
This is fucking insane, man. So they caught him in Kentucky, I think.
Okay.
So, 3-state manhunt that lasted for several weeks, which is crazy. The jury ended up finding him guilty, and he is he's sentenced to 7.5 years. That's when he escaped the first time that we told you about. He also escaped a second time.
Oh my God.
after that, and attacked a teenage girl in Nashville.
Oh, Jesus.
At that point. I would say.
He is a dangerous man.
He's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Hutton, the man who ran away from the bar, and said, quote, "I don't think he got enough prison time for what he did to us.
No?
He should have gotten attempted murder. He said he was going to kill us, and I believe he meant it. It was like he was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He's a sick human being." Mm-hmm.
3-6.
3-6 means you're really sick.
All right.
You know what? I can't say the guy is wrong.
Yeah.
I can't. He even said too, he and that girl never spoke again. Like, I don't know. Neither of them wanted to talk to each other.
Yeah.
It was just like some traumatic experience.
Looking at each other's face reminds
they
them.
didn't want to.
Oh, boy.
He felt like he couldn't protect her.
Right. She felt like he couldn't protect her.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, but the psychological shit going on both of those people is horrible in that situation. So that ruined that relationship and everything else. And who knows? I mean, she's probably ruined for, her. I can't imagine the therapy she's going to have to go through.
I cannot even fathom.
He got tied up and scared, but what happened to her is, obviously way worse. So 1975 was his escape, and he sexually assaulted a Nashville teenager escaping from prison. He's recaptured on May 1st, 1975, and convicted of the second assault, and sentenced in 76 to serve 3 to 5 years in prison for assault and battery with intent to rape a female minor, which sounds like a terrible charge.
It's gross.
That just sounds awful. Think about it. Assault and battery with intent to rape. That's bad enough.
Right.
Add
female minor
to it. It's like, it's not great.
No.
That's a definite, that's a multiplier.
She's got coal all over her.
Over there, probably. Now, after serving 2.5 years of his prison sentence, he was paroled.
Yeah.
Why would you parole this guy?
I can't
This is
imagine.
the last guy you want to parole. Parole is for everyone else but this guy.
This is the definition of why not to.
This is the guy you go, we're going to keep him the whole time,
Yeah.
right? Like everyone else we can let go.
It's a perfect example of doing all your time.
Well, that's the thing. Even if let's say someone is constantly robbing things, burglarizing or whatever. Well, I mean, yeah, they're robbing and they're burglarizing, but I mean, we'll give them another chance.
Are they raping children?
That's the
Right.
thing. If you're a dangerous sex pervert,
right.
a dangerous, aggressive sex pervert who is kidnapping people at knife point and gunpoint and doing crazy shit and raping people, that's the one thing. That's the one thing that we all go, let's not let those people out.
Those are the ones that,
Yeah, they're not real good at being rehabilitated, especially him. He escapes because he's like, I need to get out there and rape again. Like, it's so ridiculous.
There's no solution yet.
No.
We don't have, the only solution is hang on to him until time says no more. Mm-hmm. Until the time is up, keep him.
Other people are very rehabilitatable.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You can rehabilitate people. But this guy...
Oh, he's got too many issues.
He's got a lot of issues, and it gets worse for him. So he's paroled in December of 78 from the Lois DeBerry Special Needs Facility, which houses sex offenders and inmates with mental illnesses.
Lois DeBerry?
Lois DeBerry. So...
the lowest hanging fruit? Is that what that is?
The lowest hanging fruit. Yeah. So this guy's kind of like our Raynham, Massachusetts episode guy. Like, I think it's the second episode we did. Kind of like that guy where he was like put in a they had like a house of sex perverts, basically, like a sex offender mental illness house.
Oh, boy.
The Dunkin' Donuts guy.
Right, the guy that picked up the girl on the bike.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He was like living in that. It's that sort of thing that's going on here with him. Now, August 20th, 1979, this is less than a year after he's paroled, he's charged with stabbing and sexually assaulting a Tennessee Tech student who was driving through the county, and then he stole her car.
Stabbed her,
sexually assaulted her, didn't rape, but a sexual assault, and then stole her car.
Right.
So I don't know.
What is it? What's a sexual assault there? It could be a lot of things.
I could have grabbed or groped or tried to force her to do something, and then she fought.
Digit penetration?
You don't know. It's 1979. I'm not positive, but what do you need the detail for? He did something that she didn't want to do.
I want to know how fucking horrible this man is.
He's short. I feel like she fought it, and he was like, fuck it, I'll just steal the car, and drove away. That seemed to be what happened here. He's charged with malicious stabbing, which is a really good charge. Every stabbing is malicious.
It's all malicious. Why are we qualifying
How many fucking stabbings are like, I mean, he stabbed him, but he was kind of lukewarm about it.
Is there a worse stabbing? If
it wasn't an accident, I'm not saying that, but he was like, I'm kind of upset I'm going to stab you a little bit. It wasn't really malicious, though. It was just kind of a pokey, He
didn't twist it.
He did a little pokey, that sort of thing. He did a little stab. It's kind of fun between friends, but malicious is a whole other thing. thing. Nobody needs
That's
that.
a lot of stabbing.
So, malicious stabbing, felonious assault, grand larceny, and concealing stolen property. The charges of the stabbing and attack were dropped in a plea agreement. He pleads guilty in 1980 to grand larceny. He's sentenced to serve 4 to 6 years in prison. Okay, that's in 1980. He's paroled in 1982.
2 years.
2.5 years he does in prison
God.
here. He's released early because it's like they're releasing him at the earliest possible point.
Right.
Well, I mean, we want to release the
How
crazy,
overcrowded
violent.
are they?
Doesn't matter. Whatever the crowding is,
Right.
hang on to these people. Hang on to murderers and this asshole.
Right.
Everyone else, I don't give a shit. Figure it out.
And I mean,
don't care.
Malicious stabbing, he's almost a murderer, obviously.
Yeah, he's this close.
He just barely
and what
didn't.
he's doing is almost as bad
Yeah.
anyway, or fucking kind of worse. It's terrible.
It leaves them around to deal with the
That's what I mean.
consequences and the head games that come with that.
He's a fucking nightmare. He's a walking nightmare. That's the only way I can describe this
He's
man.
destroying lives.
And they keep putting him out as early as they can. And this is insane too, because he's released early despite a letter of caution from his clinical psychologist that sent to the parole board saying you shouldn't. It says, quote, I'll just quote it, quote, "This man is potentially very dangerous. He may be inclined to commit rape/murder." That's on his psychological report.
He may be inclined to do the 2 worst things society can be. Yeah, it's awful.
And what they do is they go, well, we're going to roll the dice on it. We feel good about this one. I don't know what they're thinking there.
Come on, Snake Eyes.
Unbelievable. So he gets out, and guess what? He's right back in trouble again.
Yeah.
In April of 1883, he's in a period dress. In April of 1983.
How much do you love 1883?
I just love it, dude. It's Deadwood. Watch Deadwood, damn it. It happens during then. He pleads guilty to felonious sexual battery and felonious crime against nature.
What?
Crime against nature.
Did he rape a maple tree?
I believe he did. He raped a squirrel, Jimmy.
Oh.
It was a terrible...
Boy, oh boy.
It was a terrible crime that the squirrel was... I mean, it was a big squirrel, but it still couldn't take it. It still is not ready for...
Seemed like it could fight back.
I mean, so in April of that year, this is an attack on a 50-year-old woman who he shared a class at a vocational school with. He apparently he bit her in a sexual manner.
And that's a crime against nature?
That's sexual, felonious sexual battery, and then he was trying to diddle her in some other way.
Got it.
That's a crime against nature.
Like a birch tree?
Yeah, I figured he did it while he was pissing on a birch tree.
Trying to put some oak inside
Yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, hey, baby. So this is a woman here. So he is sentenced to serve 6 years in prison, again, which obviously he won't do. He serves 4.5 years in prison, and then he is released in November of 1987.
This is ridiculous.
This is so fucking many. I mean, Jesus Christ. The woman he attacked, the vocational school student, he admitted in court that he attacked her while she was returning a school book to her that he borrowed. She said, quote, "He became violent, talked about kidnapping me, threatened to have sex with my little girl when she returned."
Okay.
That's what the woman's affidavit said.
Oh my God.
She escaped out the back door and he bit her and repeatedly tried to rape her. So he goes to prison for 6 years. 4.5 is what he gets here. Now, while they were investigating this interesting little debacle, while they're investigating that, they search his room, Jerry Ray Davidson, and they find maps which they just basically on the maps there was plots to enter the homes of 2 women. He had home invasion maps and he was drawing like a map. This is a police officer said, quote, "They're detailed maps of women's houses, one in Nashville and one in Memphis, of the neighborhoods cross street. One says a husband leaves at 4:30 p.m., drives a brown car. Other scrawlings they said included, quote, one boat cutter next to padlock on garage, just after dark, woman lives by herself. Notes on the women of he's been stalking
and
women.
He put a bolt cutter out there?
Yeah, he's been stalking people.
Wow.
It says boat cutter, which I assume he meant bolt. Yeah, that's what I mean. But they were very accurate in their thing.
This here will cut open a boat.
It's a boat cutter.
It's
cut
handheld.
Boats in half.
Goddamn
if you
handheld.
can cut a boat in half with it, I mean, that's pretty strong. Should work on.
Figure it'll take care of master lock, no problem.
Should work on just about anything. I mean, it's a whole boat it cuts right in half. That ain't bad, right? So he's been stalking two women in those are not close to each other, Memphis and Nashville. They're like 3 hours away from each other.
He's traveling.
He's traveling back and forth, stalking two different women and making notes about them. So he's been to that means it's like multiple times he's looked to make different notes because he wrote some here and then some are on the bottom over here. That's like a second visit. It's fucking crazy. So yeah, his criminal history is absolutely horrific. At this point, he lives with his mom, Aileen. He keeps his bedroom door locked from the outside, which is weird.
Yeah.
And she says he often sleeps elsewhere. They asked, does he take care of you? Because you're older. And she said, quote, he didn't take care of me. He didn't even eat here. He usually drinks Cokes here, but that's about it.
Drinks Cokes.
He drinks Cokes here. This is my Coke drinking house.
He's a regular here for the Coca-Cola.
He comes for the Coca-Cola, but then he just leaves.
Right.
She said he stored a bunch of guns and knives in her basement, though.
Oh, my. What the fuck? Why does she know about those and she's just letting them stay there?
Well, I mean, it is a rural area. A lot of people have tons of guns and knives here.
There's a place where a guy just rests his head and drinks Coke?
And stores guns.
Right.
But this is
munitions house.
Hunting is the activity here. That's the thing there. That's what there is to do. That's what people do is hunt here. So, I mean, this is absolutely normal for people to have tons of guns and knives and shit like that for hunting purposes, for legitimate reasons. So they hear there's all these weapons, but then investigators, when they look through the house, they find no weapons. So she says he's got all these guns and knives, and they're not there.
Where are they?
That's weird.
Yeah.
So they asked her if she thought that her son was guilty of any of the crimes he was convicted of, the sex crimes, and she said, quote, well, I really don't know. I don't think I ever asked.
Why would you have to ask?
I would probably be like, did you fucking do that? If that's my kid, I'm asking, did you do that? Did you do that horrible shit they said you did? Because that shit sounds horrible.
But, I mean, there's got to be. Every crime he does has a little extra on it.
That's a little, he puts a little stank on it.
Yeah, he rubs a little extra dirt in the wound.
Maraschino on top. That's the problem.
Puts some whipped cream on it and some Jimmie's. He sprinkles it. Yeah.
It's disgusting.
But
she's got the worst Sunday in town. Put it that way.
Shouldn't she know?
I would think so.
Shouldn't there be some indicator with that kind of shit going on?
Well, she said, quote, I just figured if they sentenced him, he must have been guilty, but I didn't really know whether he was guilty or not guilty, just like now I don't know what's going on. So she's like, I don't know what's going on with him.
She's oblivious.
She said that, every time, though, he gets in trouble, it tears up her family, and the whole thing's a mess.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure, yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmie had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this hero bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Now, so they look into this whole thing and they're like, okay, they're starting to wonder, is there a connection in these two disappearances based on the fact that he likes to do.
We got a good suspect.
We got something, and he's missing, and there's a lot going on here. So they look into this. Now, they look in. They find that she went to the Bronco bar that night in Dickson, and she apparently got out with she came up with her dog. She had an Irish setter. She had a pillow with her.
It's a big dog.
And some shit like that. Yeah, she had an Irish setter. Now, apparently, the bartender, Carol Owens, told her she can't bring the dog inside.
Yeah.
So she left the dog outside for a bit and came in and had a couple of beers. Now, everyone, the bartender said everyone else had left. It was just the three of us. It was Owens, the bartender,
right.
Jenny Jackson sitting there, and then Jerry Ray Davidson sitting there quietly drinking a beer.
And a dog outside.
That's it. So she called at one point here. Jenny Jackson wants to leave, so she calls for cabs. It's 11:30 at night, and both cab companies are already closed.
Both.
Rural companies.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, we're at a place with two cab companies, and they both close before midnight.
Right.
So we're not a real urban area, we'll say here. So the bartender said that Jenny said, quote, "Great, I guess I'll just walk." So she was just going to walk home. Carol, the Owens, the bartender, said, quote, "I would have offered her a ride, but Davidson spoke up and said, I'm headed in that direction."
Yeah.
So apparently she had left the bar with Davidson, according to the bartender. Now, Mama Davidson again here, she says that, he lives there. He doesn't know. She said he always seemed a little bit different than the other kids. She says that, any thought of him killing a woman and all that, she said, quote, "This is not true. Jerry Ray didn't do it. He said he didn't do it." She says, quote, "Some big shot did that, and that's all I've got to say." Some big shot. I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means because she's a big shot. She's from a prominent family.
Okay.
I think she's trying to say like we're just trash.
We're not in that world.
We're not in that world.
Got
This
it.
is some big shot that did that to her that is mad at her for some hospital business or some shit. That's what she's trying to imply because
that's just like my Irish setter's much more full bred.
It's prettier. I got to say it's fur. When you brush her, she's shinier.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say. Very shiny.
And if you don't agree, I'll kill you.
I will stab you. So right in the face. So a neighbor says that since he's been kind of on the lam here, that she's been helping look after Davidson's mother and all of that. She says, quote, I didn't see him do it, so I don't know that he did it. I would rather not talk about it. That's all she would say to a reporter, which I found hilarious. Yeah. I don't know, and whatever. So, yeah, apparently she arrived in a taxi at the Broncos bar in Dickson about 8 or 8:30, and then the bartender wouldn't let her bring the dog inside, like I said. She's carrying a purse and a pillow and wearing multicolored clips in her hair, like we said earlier. Okay. Now, Jerry Ray had been at the bar since about 4 or 5 o'clock and was sitting at the bar when she arrived. Now, another woman, Mary Ann Wheat, was sitting at the bar as well, and the bartender, Carol Owens, and Mary Ann Wheat and Jenny Jackson were all having a conversation, but Jerry Ray was sitting next to them, but just he wasn't involved in the conversation.
6-7 hours of drinking, you don't need to have conversations.
He's just sipping, watching whatever's on TV and with no sound or whatever. Now, apparently, he just sat quietly drinking his beer. Everybody said that Jenny didn't appear to be intoxicated. They only saw her have 2 beers over a 3-hour period from 8:30 to 11:30, and that's what the bartender said too. She only ordered 2 beers, so she had 2 beers over 3 hours. That's very casual social thing. That's not drunk. That's just having a couple beers. So she also says, the bartender, that Jerry Ray had about 12 beers while he was there.
Yeah.
Well, this is from 5 to 11 too. It's still 2 beers an hour. And once Mary Ann Wheat left, it was just the 2 of them remaining. And then we talked about that. She ends up leaving with Davidson. They left in his red pickup truck. Okay.
He drove.
Well,
after
he's
12 beers in
12 beers, and he offers her a ride home, and the bartender doesn't go, hey, maybe don't take a ride with him.
Right.
He's had a 12-pack.
Right.
But, I mean, I don't know, it's rural Tennessee.
It could be shit beer, too. He's barely even drunk.
Well, I mean, if he had 12 over 6 hours and he's a drinker.
He's probably a drinker.
And even if he could have got there at 4 from 11, 7.5 hours.
I don't know, man. That's a lot of beer.
That's a lot of beer. But if he ate something, he wouldn't fall down drunk if he was a drinker.
No, that's true.
He would be, okay, probably.
In Omaha, I had more than that.
Yeah.
A lot more than that.
In a lot less time.
In a lot less time.
Yeah.
And I remember...
Most of it?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I remember it sucked.
I've never had that blackout thing. No. Never. I've been pass out drunk, but never blackout drunk.
Okay.
That's certain people are capable of that. Certain people are. It's a genetic thing. Either you're capable. Yeah, you're either capable of doing that. It's a certain, like, for lack of a better term, a certain gene that is you either
chemical makeup.
It's the chemical makeup.
Alcohol does this to you.
It means usually you're more likely to be an alcoholic or to have alcoholism as a potential thing for you. Basically, it's a weird thing.
I don't do studies on it. I just drink it.
That's good. I heard that one time. So
I just get to the point where I throw up.
Perfect. And then don't remember shit.
Yeah.
So that's all they know. They left in Jerry Ray's car. He was also missing for a few days, but now he's popped up, talked to his mom, says he's going to lay low. He's got a huge history of sexual assault and everything. This isn't the person you would want your loved one to leave the bar with, put it that way.
No.
So October 19th, 1995, this is day after the police investigate and find the pile of clothes and the hair clips and the cell phone and the panties and all that stuff here. There's a couple of hunters named Bill Pierce and Walter Wainick. They're riding 3-wheelers in a wooded area. It had been in the late afternoon, and they've been scouting for a good place to hunt deer. And they said, quote, we saw some buzzards flying around. We thought it might be a deer. Instead, they found a shallow grave with Jenny's body in it. She's nude. They said the makeshift grave was only about 2 feet deep, and there was a left arm exposed, but there was not a left hand.
Oh, Jesus.
Part of the body was still covered by dirt. There was a little bit of blonde hair beside the grave. The hunter said, quote, we got the hell out of there, went back to the house and called the law, which sounds like a Southern way of saying we called in the law. That's above our pay grade. So
I got a feeling he didn't take the hand fucking buzzards or something.
No, we'll talk about that here. This is it's a few miles from her house in a wooded area off an old logging road on the Houston and Dickson County line is where it is here. Houston County Sheriff person here says, quote, "Have you ever seen a deer gutted?"
Jesus.
This is the graphic here. That's basically what you've got. He mutilated her. They thought that
that's terrible, James.
Yeah, it's crazy. They said that the dogs, they thought there might have been more bodies because originally they brought dogs in and they found 3 different areas, but they thought that might just be animals dragging little parts to certain areas that triggered the dogs and made the scent, all over the place. Now, Jackson's brother, Jenny's brother, and 3 of her sisters went to the site to verify whether they thought it was their sister. It's hard to tell because she does not have a head, as well as missing several other parts of her. And we'll get into this here. They said her sister, Sheila, said, quote, "At least if it's her, we found her." They said that if it is her, they said that she's in heaven, her father's there, and she loved him dearly. They ended up identifying the jewelry on her body, and they also identified, they said she had recently broken a toe, and they could identify her by her feet. Yeah. She also had a certain kind of pedicure, that sort of thing, so they could identify her by her feet, and also
healed.
Also her right hand that's still attached. They could tell her manicure that she gets also that it's her. So they think it's her based on all of that. Now, so now they're very interested in Jerry because now they don't just have a missing person; they have a decapitated body, and we'll talk more about the forensics of that and the details of that in a moment here.
With a fancy mani-pedi.
Yes, a very rich woman thrown in a shallow grave in the woods. So they're real interested in figuring this out.
A very rich woman, field dressed,
yeah.
That's crazy.
That is absolutely,
that's a step
in
beyond
the woods. Yeah. So you have to factor that into this as well. Small town murder, a lot of times it's I don't mean to be crude, but it's trash killing trash. That's how the society looks at it as well. It's just, these 2 in a trailer got sick of each other and somebody killed each other. But when it's something like this, every once in a while you get what they believe is some trash, convicted multiple sex felon, now killing a prominent family's daughter. This is not okay in a small town.
Shit, no.
There are people from that family that have $100 million on the fucking phone with the mayor, with the chief of police, every minute going, "What's happening? Have you talked to this person? I will get you fired if you don't have somebody's ass in a fucking courtroom ASAP." And that's what happens. So they really want to find Jerry. They're not letting this shit go. They find out Jerry was employed. He had a job at the St. Thomas Hospital in Nashville as a janitor. So, he was a janitor in the department where surgical instruments were cleaned, which I wouldn't trust him to clean a fucking driveway.
I don't want that man with surgical equipment.
I wouldn't let him hose my driveway down. No. He would get jizz on the part he already hosed.
He will rape my driveway.
He would, and probably your Irish setter. So at this point, we have, by the way, a missing Irish setter.
Good. Yeah, well. What has happened to the dog?
Well, I have an update on the dog. Well, don't worry. We'll figure out the dog here. So I just want to let you know that I didn't forget about the dog. Because people going, "Where's the fucking dog?" Yeah. You forgot because you're a dick. But there's other people out there, and they're like, "What happened to the dog?"
I love dogs.
Where's the Irish? I know. So everybody likes dogs. So, he worked there for 5 years. So it's been a while. But on September 25th, that was the last day he showed up for work. Now, September 26th is when they both went missing, Jerry and Jenny. So his supervisor, Tyrone Upshaw, said that he was a good worker, worked independently, always showed up for work, very dependable. So this is aberrant behavior. He didn't call in. He just no showed. And eventually, after a few days, they had to fire him. Because he didn't show up. Yeah, that's what happened. So one woman named Rebecca carpooled with him from Dickson to work all the time, and she said the last time she rode in his truck, the passenger seat appeared to be normal and intact, which is important in a minute here. Now, apparently he came back while they're all looking for him. Before the body is found, he comes back to Bronco's Bar on October 9th. So this is
to have drinks.
To have drinks.
What?
Yeah. That's apparently her son had inquired about the bartender about his about his mother's disappearance. She said, do you know anything? Doing like their own little investigation. And the bartender asked Jerry where he took her that night. And he says, why do you want to know? Which is not the right answer.
That's a weird answer.
It's a weird answer. Yeah. Just say, I took her here.
Fuck's the problem?
Yeah, I need a minute to think about that question. I need a minute to think about a non-incriminating answer. Can you repeat that question, please? That's why do you want to know?
Right.
That's not smart enough to go, I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? Or I didn't hear you.
What'd you say?
The music was, Hank Williams was playing.
One more time?
I didn't hear you. So instead, he says that he dropped her off at a Kroger grocery store. That's what he says. He goes, I just dropped her off down at the Kroger.
What?
That's a story.
I thought you were on the way home, man.
I love how the bartender's the only person who's questioned him at this point, by the way. The police haven't been here.
Nobody's asked him anything.
Nobody's asked, only the bartender. So later that day, though, a detective with the Dickson County Sheriff's Department came into the bar to question Owens about the disappearance. So her son and the actual murderer have both been there to talk to the bartender before the police have been there.
And now they show up.
This is top-notch fucking police work, guys. If the victim's son is ahead of you in the investigation, her 16-year-old son, by the way, if a fucking sophomore is lapping you in a murder investigation, you're shit at your job.
Right.
I'm sorry. That's bullshit.
Why does he know where the last place she was seen alive is and the cop doesn't?
I would assume they knew first, probably the cops. He just went there before them, which seems really dumb. I don't know.
Seems like the first place you go look.
He was even there before they were there. Yeah. The guy, the fucking murderer came back. And then the bartender questioned him because the bartender had been questioned by the son.
Right.
Days have gone by. And then the cops come in like, I'm just asking around. Jesus fucking Christ. That's so enraging.
Yeah.
There's a woman missing.
Right.
Can we get on this? Can we try harder? Can we,
They haven't found a body yet.
No.
They don't even know where she is
There's a missing woman. She could be alive and, suffering. We don't know. She could be dying in the woods.
But again, she's an adult, so we got to do this slow-like and see if she just comes back on her own.
It's true, but once they find out she left with a multiple convicted, crazy, violent sex pervert, I think you then step up the investigation a little bit.
She might not come back.
She might not come back. I would say, I don't know, for my own sanity, I'd like to find her.
Right.
I get that, she could be, but just for me.
I'd rather find her and have her go, fuck you, I'm fine where I'm at.
Leave me alone. And then I go, hey, fine. Cool. You want to hang out with the sex pervert, knock yourself out.
At least you're not in the woods field dressed.
That's it. Let's try to keep you from getting field dressed. That's all we're doing here. No one can be mad at that. They go, you know what? I don't want to be field dressed. So good. Thank you.
Prevent field dressed and protect. That's our motto.
Prevent ladies from being field dressed and protect. So it's ridiculous. So finally, Jesus Christ, he was at the bar when the cop came in.
He's there.
So the bartender, Owens, indicates to the cop he gave her a ride. Yeah. That guy right there.
Right.
You might want to start with him, considering I've done your whole fucking job for you. Here's your suspect. Can I get you a beer too? Refill on those pretzels, Chief? Jesus Christ. I hope you're leaving a tip since I just solved your murder, dummy.
Quesadillas are on special.
Yeah, just in case y'all want to know. Tacos, and quesadillas. So Jerry here says, oh, how you doing? Yeah, sidle on up and grab a beer with me. He says, I gave her a ride. Sure, I dropped her off down at the Kroger about midnight. And after the cop went, all right, wrote that down, fucking left.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
I got to go to the Kroger.
Good enough. Going down to the Kroger. Apparently, Jerry watched the cop car pull out of the parking lot. And then about 10 minutes later, he left the bar. So he said he watched him leave. And then he just hung out for a while. And then he left.
Got it right.
Now, after that day, he never came back into the bar.
No.
Why would you? That's the bar where cops question me for murder. Why would you go there?
It's got a negative connotation now.
Yeah, the bartender asked me questions about missing women. There's detectives there looking for me.
Far too many people in that bar asking me about missing women.
Oh, that lady's kid who's dead. He's going to come in again. He's not going to give up. He's going to, whatever. So apparently, The whole thing that triggered the family being worried about Jenny was the fact that her car was parked at a gas station near her house for several days. That was the whole thing. And then the brother-in-law saw the clothes on the road there, and it was one of those things. Several days later, he decided to move the clothes out of the road, and that's when he saw it had the sock and the panties and the sweater, some hair clips, and a pillow as well, which she was carrying a pillow. They also found the cell phone near some brush there. Her daughter identified the items as her mother's. All of the items there, her 20-year-old daughter, and they said they last saw their mother on September 23rd at a family wedding. Yeah. And also they were worried that why she was missing because it was her son's birthday and she wasn't coming around.
What the fuck, Mom?
Not going to happen.
Yeah.
There's one of those things. So they noticed her car parked behind a gas station for several days. That's why they filed the missing persons report. The door to her house was unlocked when they went to investigate, which they said was highly unusual. She always locked her door. She's a woman living alone with her children.
Right.
So she's always locking her door. And the back tires on her truck had been slashed as well.
Why would somebody do that?
Which is interesting. So she can't drive away.
Right.
So her back tires had been slashed. Oh, by the way, her dog's at her house.
Oh, back home.
Her dog's at her house. They find her dog in her house. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's a big step.
Yeah.
At some point, she was at her house from here to there.
Right.
That's the only way.
She went from the Kroger with the dog back home where somebody was waiting for her because they slashed the tires on the truck.
Now I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess it must have been, based on our previous episodes, I'm going to guess Jerry Ray is going to say, I went over there to make sure she got in all right. Turns out there was a black guy in there already killing her. So I disposed of him and then, did my, oh God, that was 4 episodes ago.
Yeah.
That guy is still the most ridiculous excuse in the history of the world.
I got there, and the Irish setter was sawing her head off.
He was taking her head off. I said, bad boy.
I opened the door and said, now you get out.
I started rolling up a newspaper. He knew. He started running. He's like, you're going to hit me right on the nose with that thing.
And instead of letting her parents find her murdered by an Irish setter,
I figured
they're very racist.
Yeah, they don't like the Irish. Let's just say that. Never hired him at the hospital. Not a Mick or an O working there. Just not even a one. An O'Leary applied, and they said, get your Mick drunken Irish ass out of our hospital.
Go find your pot of gold.
You diseased, potato famined asshole. It was terrible.
Goddamn leprechaun ass out of here.
Terrible. The family had been here for 7 generations. It was the weirdest thing I ever saw.
They're not very good at doctoring on account of their small hands.
You know how that works. Doctoring. So, Jesus Christ. Now, a Melinda Jones, who lives in the out in the country here on Old Yellow Creek Road, that is probably near Turkey Creek Road, in Dickson. She said she saw a small red truck that she did not recognize drive down the road past her house sometime between the 4th and the 6th of October, 1995. That's how rural this is.
Wow.
That you remember a truck passing by your house.
And the date.
The date. I think I saw a red truck on the 4th.
Somewhere between the 4th
think
and the
about
6th.
That.
No.
I don't know what cars pass in front of my house. Lots of them.
I can't think of anything specific that happened today. Forget yesterday.
That's how few cars drive. It's only the people that live there. So even if your car is just, they never saw it before. Oh, who's that driving down the road? They're looking out the window.
Is that a car on the road?
What the hell? Who's that? That's not the 3 people we know. Who might that be? She said she also observed the same truck drive by about a week earlier from there, and she said there's not much traffic on her road, obviously, and she recognized the vehicles traveling on it. Was she just staring out her window? How bored are you?
I can't imagine.
Go inside.
Yeah.
There's so much on TV.
Get off your porch.
Figure it out. It's 95. You get cable. Fucking Jesus. Live with it. So she said that she recognized the driver, and she noticed something tightly wrapped tightly in something white, maybe a sheet, in the cab of the truck, fall onto the driver's shoulder, which the driver had to push off. She didn't recognize the driver, I'm sorry, but then she saw that happen. So she's got he's got a Weekend at Bernie situation happening in here. And then later she saw his picture on television and realized that was the guy driving the red truck. So, hey, I connected it all. There you go, lady. Anyway, like we said, her body was then found. They also talked to Teresa Smith, who's an employee of a convenience store on Old Yellow Creek Road. She says that Jerry came into the store in the morning sometime between October 2nd and 6th, and that she had never seen him before. And according to this clerk, his pants were dirty, quote, like he'd been digging in a garden or something. So that just
the woods.
Yeah, a lot of mud all over him, basically. He sat in the store for about an hour and drank a cup of coffee, which is weird to do in a convenience store. Yeah. Get your shit and leave.
Yeah.
Go sit in your car. What are you doing? Get out of here. Yeah. What do you do? You're not even using the bathroom.
No.
Get the fuck out of here. So
nobody sticks around those places.
No. She said he was driving a red pickup truck with a camper top, which is, that's the guy.
That's him.
And about a week later, he came back into the store, bought a drink, and sat inside again for an hour.
Okay.
So we're putting this all together. On October 12th, a Darla Harvey was a woman working at the Lakeview Tavern in Cumberland City, and he came into that bar at about 2:30 p.m. He sat at the bar. He ordered a beer.
He's a thirsty son of a bitch.
He's a thirsty bar-hopping son of a bitch.
Christ.
How much money is he spending in beer? Beer's expensive in bars.
Yeah.
He's just, that's all he does.
And
get a 12-pack and go home.
He's just pushing liquid down his body.
Go get a 12-pack and go home. You can drink so much more that way. But
so much cheaper.
There's way less people to kidnap and rape, though. That's the problem.
That's a good point.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
When you field dress someone at home, it's different. So I guess she said that this bartender said that his pants and shoes were covered in red dirt. She also says that he just sat at the bar without saying a word and, quote, blatantly stared at me for a long period of time.
Oh, that's weird.
About an hour and 15 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
After 45, you're getting asked to leave.
45? 10?
I mean, you're going, you got a fucking problem? Are you? Because you can leave. You know what I mean? This is not going to work.
Staring for an hour and a half?
Weird creep
hour
staring
45?
for an hour 15, just sipping on his beer with pants all dirty.
Just staring.
Mud-covered pants, drinking a beer, staring at you.
My God.
As a woman, that's about the most frightening thing you can imagine.
Yeah.
I would think. Anyway, this is the guy that you are warned about.
Yeah.
And that they make Lifetime movies about. And
for an extended period of time, about an hour 15.
Wow. Blatantly stared at me, just not caring.
Your husband and your boss.
I don't give a shit.
Call your boss, have him removed. Call your husband, come pick me up after my shift.
Shit.
I'm not leaving alone.
Call the police. He's a creep. Get him out of my bar.
Certainly.
He's a fucking creep. Or if you have a 357 under the counter, deal with it yourself.
Just wait.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, she might be she might be able to kick his ass. I don't know what she's about.
Knows?
So apparently she felt so uncomfortable because she didn't know him, so she walked outside to look at his truck to see who he was, just in case he did anything weird.
Atta girl.
Yeah, she said he was driving a small red pickup truck with a camper top that had been spray painted red. So now he's spray painted it red.
Okay.
I'm gonna switch it up.
Yeah.
They'll never find me.
What color was it before?
It was a white camper shell. He's now they'll never find me.
A red truck with a white camper shell fucking stands out.
Red and red.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, obviously.
It goes together.
Not
but
guilty.
Rattle can? No. That stands out as much as white.
Not guilty, sir. That's all I got to say. So apparently, she said she looked through the window of the camper and she saw a sleeping bag soiled by red clay, a dirty shovel, a chain, and 2 Rubbermaid containers. This is a bad kit that he's got back there. She also said the cab of the truck was, quote, really, really messy, like he had been living in there. So this is not the person you want hanging out in your bar.
She's really investigating.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Good Lord.
These people are bored.
Yeah.
This is one thing about small towns. In big cities, it's watch Law and Order. Yeah. They go into a bar and they're like, have you seen this guy? And they're like, I don't know, a lot of people come in here and drink. Right. They're like washing a fucking glass. I don't fucking know. How do I know? They'd have to say like, well, he spontaneously combusted and his hair caught fire. They'd be like, I think, I remember a guy's hair catching on fire. It was like last month, right? But they don't fucking even know. But in a small town, they're like, I never met this guy. Let me go investigate his vehicle, look in his windows, check out his situation, write down his license plate number. I'm going to call his mama and see what she thinks of him.
I'm going to take a break and go rummage through the cab of his truck. In New York, even if you said spontaneous, like the one last week?
Was that?
Or like 3 weeks ago. There's been a few this year.
Are we talking about the fucking Chinese guy or what? The Chinese Chinese guy or the other fucking guy that burst into flames? People fucking burst into flames all the time in here. I'm busy. You gonna tip me or order something?
There's a
or
lot
what?
of people in and out.
They come in and out. Sometimes their heads catch on fire. What do you want from me? Is it my fucking fault now? Am I under investigation?
I told
for
them to
people's
take
heads?
flaming Dr. Peppers off the menu.
Said,
they won't do it.
Drink water. I tell everybody, stay hydrated. I don't know, but they don't fucking do it. It's not my fault. What do you want from me? But in a small town, the bartender goes, he looks a little strange. Let me investigate fully. Yes. Which, thankfully, he did.
He looks a little strange. Please, may I have your fingerprints and a DNA sample?
Yeah, please. Could you jizz in this cup for me? I'm going to take that with me. He probably would, too. Be like, gladly.
Sounds great.
So apparently she came inside, and then after a few minutes, he went outside to go in his truck quick, and then came back inside the bar with one hand in his pants pocket. Mm-hmm. You know, like you got a gun in there.
Right.
Or
a weapon of any sort.
Any kind of weapon, or worse. He's holding his dick. Or he's tugging in there. I don't know what's the worse here. I'm not sure, but either way.
One way or another, he's got a weapon in there.
He's got an aggressive instrument. So, I could put it. So she says that she was scared because he's continued to sit at the bar staring at her, not saying a word, with his hand in his pocket and his weird truck and in his muddy pants and everything like that. So about 5:30, 3 hours this goes on, this uncomfortable shit. Wow. About 5:30, people start arriving. More patrons start coming in.
Happy hour.
Once work lets out here. And apparently, she started telling some of the regulars that she knew that I'm afraid of this fucking guy over here. He's super weird. Keep an eye on him.
Can you guys stick around till bar closed? That guy's a fucking creep.
Yeah. Well, no, these guys said, we'll fucking get him out of here. So a bunch of the regulars said they went over to him and said, get the fuck out of the bar. You're making the bartender uncomfortable. You're not welcome. Take a fucking hike.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So, they said, if you don't, we'll take you outside. We'll escort you out the door. And so he said, all right, no problem. I'll leave. I'm trying to be, it's all good. He does one of those. But during the entire 3 hours he was there, he only ordered one beer. So it's not even like he was being a good customer. No. And he's like, I'm just a weird guy.
He's just loitering.
Yeah, it's not like he's a socially awkward guy who just went to drink and doesn't know how to talk to people, and he thinks the girl is pretty and he's just a harmless
weirdo.
No, he's a fucking weirdo that had one beer and stared at the bartender, so they bounce his ass out.
3 hours.
3 hours, one beer, all staring, and a weird truck. She had a really good reason to go. Can you talk to her?
Right.
She's absolutely right. So October 19th, 95 is the day after the body's found. A Betty Lutz is working at the Roberts Creek Bar, another bar here, and he came into this bar, Jerry does, at about 1 or 2 p.m., mid-afternoon bar, because he knows no one's there. He can creep on a bartender. And he ordered a beer. He sat at the bar quietly. She said, the bartender, Betty, said she felt uneasy because he just sat and stared at her. He's got a definite thing that he does.
Strange move.
Yeah, at about 6 o'clock, Sheriff Ronnie Tunget of the Humphreys County Sheriff's Department entered the bar and arrested him there.
On what?
I think they were looking for him for this. He was in possession of a 25 caliber automatic pistol, a chrome like brass knuckles with a knife on them.
Oh, Jesus!
You know those that you have, brass knuckle with knife on one side.
Knuckle duster and
and he had those on him. Oh, and a pair of handcuffs.
Why?
Which you shouldn't have those things. They also found a full-length shotgun in his truck here. Full-length shotgun, a sawed-off shotgun along with some shells, a knife, various tools, a shovel, a tent, a sleeping bag, a camping stove, coolers, some clothes, food, a bunch of Marlboro cigarettes, and a bunch of other shit that they found here. So plenty of stuff to look for clues on. A lot of physical evidence here. The truck did not have a camper top at this point when he's at this bar.
Okay. Just
to pick up here. The passenger seat had a chain with a padlock wrapped around it.
Weird.
That's weird. I've never chained and padlocked my seat to my car before.
No.
That seems odd.
It's rare.
Also, another thing that's not in my car, blood stains found on the passenger seat.
Uh-oh.
Very rarely do I bleed in my car. Mm-hmm. And DNA testing was sketchy on it, but it revealed that Jenny couldn't be excluded as a contributor. So she's in the pool of people who it could be, but they couldn't narrow it down to her. They said they go and they find a campsite in the woods about 2,500 feet across the road from where Jenny was found. Yeah. And in the campsite, they found here 5 spent shotgun shells. He's got a shotgun. And they determined later that those shells were fired from one of the shotguns recovered from his truck. So there's that. They also find a knife, the handcuffs, another pair of handcuffs similar to the ones found when he was arrested. The same key fit both pairs.
He left all that shit at a campsite?
At a campsite, yeah. A can of red spray paint matching the brand of a can found in his truck.
Oh, God.
So he just left. He's like, I'm going to buy 2 of everything.
I'm going to just put it all.
Keep 1 in my truck.
Half this order on this riverbank.
And then half at the campsite. And just so everything's got a matching pair. Just not together. I bought a pair of earrings.
Yeah.
I keep the left one in my truck, the right one over there. Pair of Air Jordans,
right.
Left one over here, right one at the campsite. It's just, I feel better if I have everything. It's a balance thing, you know. My body feels balanced. So they found that. Also, a prescription pill bottle belonging to Jenny.
Oh, that's not good.
That's not good. Also, Jenny's wallet containing some of her IDs, different various things. Her leather cigarette case. 2 ATM receipts that show a withdrawal from Jerry's bank account on October 4th, and an empty box that once it contained some brand of tent recovered, the same brand of tent recovered from his truck. Mm-hmm. So literally, he's like, I'll put the tent in here, but I'm going to keep the box.
And the receipt.
But he's got a tent in his truck and the box for the tent at the campsite.
Right.
He's backwards. He's dyslexic. It's very sad. It's very sad.
But he's got half of his shit mixed up with hers.
Mixed up with her shit at a campsite.
That's not good at all.
Not good at all. Also, some men's underwear, a T-shirt matching the size and brand recovered from his truck, a pair of pants matching the brand of a pair found in his truck, a flashlight matching the brand and color of one found in his truck. Everything he buys 2 of,
he does.
And keeps 1 there. Empty packs of Marlboro cigarettes, as well as numerous items. Apparently, the amount of cigarettes this guy smoked is obscene. Yeah. The investigators said the thing that really struck us the most was the amount of cigarettes. Really? Just he had empty packs and cigarette butts were everywhere. He smoked like 15 packs a day.
Just doesn't shut him down.
It's like on The Wire when Omar is scoping somebody out and they'll cut to him dropping a cigarette butt and there's like 12 of them on the ground showing he's been staring and scoping people for a long time. That's what's happening here, except Omar doesn't rape. That's the difference. He does kill people, but he doesn't rape them. Also there was general trash and debris in the same area, which other witnesses said is kind of a dumping site for nearby residents. So
yeah, but it's too much of his.
Oh, no, that's all concentrated. Yeah. It's in other places. There's garbage strewn around. Now, a forensic anthropologist, that's a very specific job, Dr. Murray Marks here, examined the body of Jenny on site and concluded that they'd been there for about a month, which is a little high. Mm-hmm. It's actually a little less than a month. She was lying face down, and her left forearm had been gnawed on by animals, and the left hand was missing. Her head was also missing, like we said. Now, there was evidence of animal activity in the upper left portion of the back and neck region, and they said that it looks like that the shallow grave in which they found the body, there was an area for a head there. I think there was enough room for a head.
Dug it up.
So he must have put her in there and then cut the head off from that area. So they said he said that she was buried probably with her head intact, and then it was removed sometime after that. So he might have even gone back and said, "I better take that fucking head off."
What the fuck?
Like he might have buried her because he had a campsite nearby. So he was like. He was living at this campsite 2,500 feet from over by where she was.
Right.
And then he must have just been like, I better do this.
Dental record. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Things like that. So, now it's not, they showed they were talking about whether it was evidence of animal activity, but there was incision marks also, and also evidence of animal activity. They said it's possible, that the victim's head was definitely cut, then the neck was chewed on by animals. So it was cut off. They said the head might have been cut off and placed there, and then the animals might have taken the head afterwards or things like that. It doesn't know. But they never found the skull. They never find her head. Whoa, this is rough. her torso was cut cleanly from the neck to the navel.
Yeah.
Like a field dressing.
Right.
So they, in and around the grave, they found a cigarette butt from him and a chunk of dirt consistent in shape and size with having been lodged in the handle of a shovel near the blade.
Oh, yeah.
It'll pop out in that shape. So they find that. This Dr. Marks, he says that the victim may not have been killed at the gravesite because they didn't find a significant amount of blood in the dirt around the body. So who knows where this happened. He also viewed the body before the autopsy was performed and then reviewed the medical examiner's findings. The assistant medical examiner performed the autopsy. He says that the liver tested positive for alcohol and Prozac, which, not surprising, a lot of people on Prozac in 1995, and she had 2 beers. So definitely going to have that in there. Kidney also positive for Prozac. They said given the state of decomposition, they couldn't determine how much alcohol or Prozac was present. So we don't know if he, made her drink more or tried to ply her with alcohol or whatever, but that isn't really irrelevant. The doctor also said that the state of decomposition was consistent with the death occurring 24 to 48 hours after the last time she was seen, sometime in a day or two. They said they could not make a definitive conclusion as to cause of death, but they do. It was clearly a homicide, they know. And the incision to the victim's torso occurred post-mortem, they said, and would have to have been made with a reasonably sharp knife, at least a hunting knife of some kind. He also said that the head was removed after death with a sharp instrument and not removed by an animal. And he said that the victim may have died as a result of wounds to the neck or head, but obviously they won't know the head because they can't find it. Right. So this is crazy. They interview the detectives interview Jerry, which is crazy here. After he's arrested, they interview him on October 19th and 20th. It's from 9:40. It's overnight thing. About 9:40 p.m. to about 5 a.m. Keep in mind, that's one of the strategies of a murder thing is if they're a day person and interview them at night. If they're a night person, interview them first thing in the morning. Make them uncomfortable, keep them off guard. Right. So they asked if they could search his truck, and he says, no, you can't, which is a, interesting thing here.
You don't?
Yeah, he said that there might be something in the truck that he didn't want them to find, which if you tell the cops that, now they have reason to search your truck.
You dummy.
You just gave them a valid reason to get a warrant to search your truck. Yeah. Why do you want to search? A person says there's illegal shit in there that they don't want us to find. Oh, well then, go ahead. Hey, dummy. Yeah, not just I'm a private person. I don't know, some horse shit.
I know my rights.
Yeah, well... He said after a while that he was referring to a sawed-off shotgun. It's modified, and he knows it's illegal. He said he denies any knowledge of Jenny's whereabouts, and he says, I dropped her off at the Kroger. I don't know when you fucking people are going to listen to me. Right. Dropped her off at the Kroger.
Probably never.
Yeah, he said that he left her at the Kroger, went to a bar in Nashville until about 4 a.m., and then the next morning he left for Knoxville and Chattanooga. So they asked him, said, quote, hypothetically, where do you think the victim might be? And this is his answer. Okay. Let's say you didn't kill somebody. Right. You met a chick at a bar. Yeah. She asked you for a ride. You dropped her off a couple blocks away. You went home. She's missing and all this kerfluffle. They come to you and they say, hypothetically, what do you think where do you think she might be?
Home?
I don't fucking know. How the fuck should I know?
I'm assuming home.
I don't know. Does she have a job? Right. Check there. Work, home. Does she have a family?
I don't know. How much groceries did she need? I left her at the fucking Kroger.
I don't know. Kroger, the frozen food. I have no idea. I don't know this person.
Check the ice cream aisle. Sometimes depressed chicks love Haagen-Dazs.
She sat there... seriously.
Yeah.
Check it. She might just be standing in front.
She was having drinks. She may not be all put together right now. She might be sad.
There's a lot of flavors is what I'm getting at. It's hard to decide which one you want, and that happens.
Salted caramel's fantastic.
There's so many, Jimmy. Yeah. There's a pistachio. Just your old school pistachio is even good. Rocky Road is fantastic.
That's not bad.
It's top notch.
Damn good choice.
It's top notch. So this is what I mean. There's a lot to choose from. But that would be my answer of how the fuck should I know? What are you asking me for?
I'm not a cop.
Hey,
that's your job.
I was going to say, aren't you, what's your title? Detective.
Ask you.
Hey, you should go detect some shit and figure this shit out. You know what I do? I'm a fucking janitor. You go shit on the floor, I'll clean it up, and then you go find the dead girl or wherever the fuck is missing.
Ask me hypothetically, where would you wipe piss from? Toilet. Nailed it. I win.
See how good I am at my job? You, on the other hand, I wouldn't come to you and go, hey, hypothetically, how would I clean the shit out of this toilet? Do I ever say that to you?
Hypothetically, where's the broom closet?
You don't know that. Hypothetically, where do I keep my supplies? How the fuck would you know that? You don't know where I keep my lemon pledge. How the hell is this bullshit? So he instead says, well, hypothetically, I mean, just off the top of my head, someone, I don't know, might have chained her to a tree.
What?
That's his fucking answer.
What?
Which is the last answer an innocent man gives. Even if he said, I don't know, maybe somebody killed her.
Yeah.
Even that, I would say, okay, that's reasonable. She's been missing for days. You found her fucking, I don't know where she would have went. Somebody murdered her, I guess. He says that's very specific.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, he just thought that hypothetically was just a complete washer of everything.
He thought
I said hypothetically.
He thought hypothetically means you can go ahead and just admit to everything you've ever done, and we'll just be like, now we got to prove it. Damn it.
He said hypothetically.
He did it.
Your Honor.
It's like he said allegedly, Your Honor.
Not guilty, Your Honor. It's all hypothetical. No. So he said that he also said that Jenny's head and hands might be missing.
What?
To keep someone from identifying the body.
Why would you say?
Because they said, well, I mean, her head and hands are gone. They explained that, and he goes, well, I mean, someone might have, chained her to a tree and cut her head and hands off so they couldn't identify her, like the Russian mob or some shit. So they said, why'd you quit your job? And he stated that, quote, things were getting too tense and he just needed to leave. Yeah. It's that shit. Cleaning is very tense. It's a very tense environment.
Nobody would show me where the supplies are.
I said, where the fuck are the cleaning supplies? And no one told me. It was awful.
They all kept telling me where they were, but they said hypothetically first, so I didn't believe them.
Yeah, so you know how that works. I said, they're lying. Even though they said, see that closet? It hypothetically says cleaning supplies on it. Now, that don't mean it's real.
Could hypothetically be in that cleaning supplies prop. Yeah.
Hypothetically, I'm in the NBA. I'm the league's all-star power forward. Now, hypothetically, that's how it works now. In reality, I'm a 50-year-old short white man from Tennessee who with an alcohol problem who has a tendency to be a sex pervert and possibly a murderer.
And
but
stare at bartenders peering and leering.
I'm just a staring. So, so once they do get in his truck here, like I said, they find a shovel matted with dirt, large knife, 2 shotgun shells, and a matching thing for every goddamn thing at the campsite.
Found the other pair to everything.
Yes, and at this point, though, a large section had been cut out of the passenger seat where a large chain had been attached. And the person who he carpooled with said that the seat wasn't like that the last time they were in the car. So this happened Thursday. This happened right before, a couple days before the before the last time she was seen. That's what happens here. They said that a little more than a week, his exact quote, by the way, was, quote, maybe someone got to her and chained her to a tree. That's an amazing quote here. So they said that there's no witnesses who saw his truck at the Kroger, like he said. It's located about a mile from where she had parked her car behind that gas station. And they said that she routinely, apparently, this is what she did all the time, she would leave her car at this gas station. She would take a cab later on to her car and then drive a couple miles home. So she would go to bars, not want to drive the full way. She'd park like 2 miles from her house, like by the woods, so she wouldn't get pulled over or anything. Take a cab back to her car and then drive the rest of the way through the woods to her house. Go the whole way?
Let's just take a cab.
I don't know.
What the fuck?
It's rural. I don't know what the hell.
Woods fucks.
You goddamn bastard.
Stop driving.
But she's not driving anymore. So unfortunately, this poor woman here. So they also found that they found several garbage bags at the campsite and other items. They said tons of Marlboro cigarettes, also Hanes underwear, black men's shoes, all shit that the defense tried to say that they're trying to say, well, these are all common items. Anybody could have left there and have exact matching pairs. Right. Yeah. And they said one of the lead investigator said, quote, what was interesting was the amount of cigarettes at both the campsite and in the truck. Like he just smokes a lot. Now, the town reaction here, this is, they're pissed. That family is fucking mad.
Oh, I'm sure of that.
Oh, yeah. They said, here's one member said, quote, the creeps they are letting walk the streets. We let him out to hurt other people. That's ludicrous. We've got our values all screwed up here. So another one here. There's a woman that lives nearby here who she mowed the grass at a rental house, and she would see him outside his house there. And she said, quote, he seems like a nice, ordinary guy. He'd always strike up a conversation with me. I never dreamed he was dangerous. So now they're going around asking people. One man here says, quote, a woman who's a childhood friend of Jenny's said, quote, I think the community is angry. I know I am. She said that I think he kind of took advantage of her friendliness. She was like that with everyone. You can kill someone without tearing them apart. It's just awful. Now, his friend, he's got friends who don't think this is him. He's got a friend who is a woman named Joan Pennington who he hangs out with. He's got a woman friend who's a single mom with a 13-year-old daughter. Mm-hmm. She says that they have been friends for a couple years now. She said she was shocked to learn of these murder charges and also all of his criminal history.
She didn't know any of it.
Not a fucking thing about it. He didn't tell anybody about this shit.
No, I wouldn't.
He wasn't going around saying, hey, by the way, I've been in and out of prison for all these horrible sex crimes.
You know how you know everything about all these horrible. Think about those and then rub some stank on them. That's me.
Yeah, that's me. All the bad shit.
Yeah.
That's me.
I do it worse.
You know the boogeyman?
I do it worse. I raped the boogeyman.
I raped him good. I got him good. You have no idea, boy. I mean,
a little extra.
He tried to get away.
Right.
He was screaming, but luckily I put that chain in my front seat. And boy, he was tough to pin down. Let me tell you
that was my
so.
crime against nature.
Right in his ghost ass. I said, right there, buddy. Right in your ghost hole. Have some of that. So it's the only thing I think it's okay to rape is the boogeyman.
Yeah.
If the boogeyman confronts you, feel free to rape him.
Well, the good news is you never finish because you don't feel it because
that's
it's a ghost. So it's just he feels it.
Oh, he does. Yeah, that's the beauty part.
So
of it.
You can just keep going.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. So just keep raping all night on the boogeyman. Do I feel bad for the boogeyman right now? I almost feel bad for the boogeyman.
I see him screaming.
He's like, I want to make all the kids scared for their lives, but Jesus, this is enough. This is too much. So she is shocked that she has let this horrible person. Not only are they friends, they're not just like work acquaintances. He takes her daughter out.
Yeah.
He's like a surrogate,
close.
almost like a surrogate uncle.
Yeah.
She says, quote, I thought, how come he didn't try anything with me or my daughter? What are you, fucking disappointed?
Yeah.
Be happy he didn't. Jesus Christ. What am I, not good enough?
You protesting, lady?
Good Lord.
Jesus.
She said, quote, things go through your mind 24 hours a day after something like this. I feel lucky. She says that her daughter, who's only 13, still doesn't know about the charges because it would freak her out because she used to take him. He always took her out for ice cream and shit like that. She was visiting him in jail until more evidence started coming out. And she started seeing that, he fucking did this shit. She says she still hangs on to cherished memories of a friend who she could always tell her troubles to. She said they watched movies together at her home. He would come over for hours at a time, or he would take her daughter swimming at the creek. Swimming with a bathing suit on with this fucking guy around.
I mean, some guys can turn it on and off, I guess. That's how crazy of a sociopath he is.
That's insane.
It's horrifying.
That's the scariest thing
so
ever.
Scary.
Oh, it's like Ted Bundy with his girlfriend. The same thing. Like, this
they have
one's
people
fine.
that they love.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's just disturbing of where. When do you put someone in a box of personal
Killable and not
personal personal relationship and murder fodder? Which side of the fence does someone? How quickly does someone judge that?
I mean, you've got to find the person that has to be your mask that makes the world think, because there's a difference between right and wrong. The behavior that you're not supposed to do.
There has to be a different draw. Okay, there's a different allure for a Ted Bundy to a person that he's going to be a girlfriend with, and whether it's just a calculated ruse just to make him look normal or not, he's going to have to spend time with this person. So there's going to be some sort of whatever allure that he needs to have with her that's totally different from the turn on that he gets from the other thing. It's just weird. Otherwise it would cross over at some point. So it almost
you can't kill them all.
That's
you'll end up getting caught.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. So for him, when did he just go, you know what? These two, every other people people, it doesn't matter. If they know me, I'll try it, I'll do it, whatever. But these two,
this coworker I'm going to be friends with, and this chick I'll marry.
I'll carpool with somebody and they'll be fine, never touch her, and then I'll go over to this person's house, have all the access in the world, unfettered to both her and her 13-year-old daughter in a bathing suit, eating ice cream and the whole thing, and he's fucking, it's weird, man. So, by the way, the Yellow Creek area where he took her daughter swimming is really close to where Jenny Jackson's body was found. So he knows that. She says, quote, "I miss him. He came over here so often, but if you've been in jail that many times, you had to have done something. It couldn't have been all a misunderstanding." No shit. That's a person who sounds like a person with not a lot of friends, who is just very sad that their friend, she's like, I lost a friend now. Fuck.
Yeah, but
who cares? The guy's a fucking maniac. Be lucky.
The other part, too, is like she's got to feel duped and feel she's mourning. She's grieving a relationship because it's clearly a living, breathing relationship when she trusts him with her kid.
Absolutely.
And she's grieving that, for sure.
And on top of that, she's probably sitting up like scared at night thinking anyone I meet could
could I allow this into my life?
Yeah. Anyone I meet could be a murdering, crazy, fucking sex criminal. This is insane.
But the odds and chances of that being as bad as
small.
this dude, pretty
very
slim. You've met one.
This guy.
How many have you met?
He's a fucking pro. This one, you know what I mean? Like you're not going to meet a lot of guys like him. Now the prosecutor says at this point, there's a lot of newspaper articles because I mean she stops going to see him. Everybody knows what's up. A prosecutor says in the paper, quote, "We have enough evidence to send him to the electric chair." So that's a lot. That's pretty hardcore. So,
I mean, it's half of all of his shit. Yeah,
it's a lot. We do, but to say that in the paper causes Jerry to file for a change of venue because change of venue due to all his fucking publicity. There's
the chances of mistrial are through the roof now.
There is just how do you pick a jury that hasn't been tainted by?
It's all ruined.
We have enough evidence to send him to the electric chair. You can't have a juror sitting down and that's what they've heard already. That's too much. That shit's not bound by the rules of law. It's just reports. So the judge takes a couple weeks to decide, and this Judge Wallace says he believes that an impartial jury can be found in this county and can be seated. Now the juries they wanted the trial moved to another county. He said that the question of a change of venue would be relevant only if they couldn't seat a jury. He said, let's try to seat a jury first, and if we only get 3 people that don't know what's going on, then we can change venue.
Okay.
That seems fair, I guess. I don't know.
Seems ballsy.
It seems like a waste of time. Possibly a waste of time. How about we just move it now and we know?
All right.
So during the trial, they bring in, good Jesus Christ, I mean, all of this evidence, a toolbox and the campsite, all the shit. He's got the Ozark brand tent and the Ozark brand tent box. Yep. All of this different shit, the shells, everything. They found a knife stuck in the ground next to a tree. Now, the defense attorney jumped on that and said, many of these items are common and could belong to anybody. Yeah. It's the woods. Yeah. I mean, people go in there. So they said the knife, they said to the guy on the stand, the crime scene guy, so there's nothing connecting that particular knife to this crime. It's just a knife found in the woods. And the guy said, I guess. I mean, how the fuck do we know if it's been used for whatever? If he washed it off, it's just a knife. We have no idea. But he has other knives, and he also has all that other shit and her blood in his car. Yeah. That's a weird one.
That one's heavy.
Her ID and shit mixed in with his stuff. All these handcuffs, they match the size. All the shit that matches. It's a lot. It's just a lot. The Hutton guy, remember Hutton from 1971 who ran for his life while his girlfriend was raped? He gets to testify.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, they bring him into this bad boy.
Oh, boy.
He says, when I read in the paper about the lady's death, it had me so upset. I just knew he did it and that it could have been me. He said, I just had to relive it all again. It was so bizarre, a nightmare you couldn't imagine. Yeah. Afterwards, I became a recluse, a zombie. I couldn't leave my parents' house for a year. Yeah. The fear just took over. This incident, by the way, destroyed his life.
Oh, I'm sure.
In 71, and then he had to come back 25 years later and talk about it in open court again.
He's the kid that survived the fucking Zodiac.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's exactly so what it is. He's that guy. Right. Was that McPoyle?
I don't know his name.
From the Always Sunny.
Oh,
McPoyle, one of the McPoyles, wasn't he? I think that was that actor.
You're talking about Mindhunter.
Yeah.
The guy that survived BTK, right? That was BTK.
Oh, it was. You're right.
I was thinking about the kid that survived getting shot by
the Zodiac, and another. I'm crossing over.
Both of them.
I'm crossing over true crime shows.
Both of them fucked up.
They fuck, yeah. So they get Dr. Frank Joseph Peretti on the stand.
Yeah.
He says, "You fucking bastards." He comes on. He's got a little bit of sauce from the rigatoni he had for lunch on his chin when he gets up there. He goes, "How you doing up here?" Right. Winks at the ladies. He's the associate medical examiner and forensic pathologist at the Arkansas State Crime Laboratory. He is testifying on behalf of Jerry here. Mm-hmm. He says that there's no way of knowing, given the condition of the victim's body, whether she was killed within 24 hours of last being seen. He says it's also not possible to determine whether the knife wounds to the victim were inflicted before or after death. And he stated that it was not possible to determine what was the cause of death in this case, because the doctor Harlan did not allow him to remove the soft tissue from the neck bones. He was not able to positively determine how the head was separated from the body. He says also the incision to the victim's chest was very smooth and that the bones exhibited some tool marks. And on cross-examination, he also said that there's different opinions about how the head was removed, but the head was fucking removed. Do you agree with that?
Is there a head? No.
That was it.
All right, we got...
Was it removed by human or an animal? And he said it's probably an animal. We just don't know exactly what. And he goes, all right, then that's what we're talking about. Because you can't agree on exactly what knife did it is really pretty fucking irrelevant here. We have this asshole and we think he did it. Mm-hmm. The defense also introduces evidence, this is so silly, that Jenny was being prescribed Prozac in April and September of 95, and that she suffered severe drug overdoses in 1990 and 1985, 1983, 1982, 1980, 1978.
Oh, God.
That's a lot, but that's still 5 years before all this happened. And also presented testimony from a DNA expert who said that they couldn't conclude that it was the victim's blood inside the truck. Now, having several drug overdoses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in 12 years, as rough as that is, it does not make your head pop off.
No.
You jump into a shallow grave and field dress yourself, usually. Usually.
Right.
Because the hard thing is once you're field dressing yourself, it's hard to get your head off.
Right.
Because, you've already died.
Yeah.
So one of those things.
And you certainly can't get the head first.
No, that would be impossible.
That's
You'd have to set it up so you could see.
Right.
It'd be difficult. That's what I mean. It's asinine.
Ponytail.
It's fucking asinine, man. It's absolutely asinine. So the defense presents evidence. They're like, it's all circumstantial. Mm-hmm. All it is circumstantial. They're said that, they tried to make it sound like the tires that were punctured on Jenny's truck, that means that he didn't do it for some reason, but they were like, that kind of means he did do it, actually. We're more likely to believe he did do it at that point.
I mean, even if this is a circumstantial case,
it's pretty fucking strong.
Also, give me a circumstance where all of that shit is together.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Other than because you fucking murdered her.
If he didn't have the left half to the broken heart necklace of every fucking right half in his truck and in his goddamn campsite, it would be a different story. If it wasn't everything, if it was just the tent and the box, it'd be okay.
If your handcuff key didn't match the cuffs,
come on,
your
dude.
Box doesn't match the fucking
2,500 feet away. What a coincidence!
And your shells went through that gun.
Weird, right?
Fucking
super weird.
Just tell us what happened.
The defense pathologist also complained that the quantity of alcohol and Prozac in her body should have been determined, because obviously if you drink alcohol and Prozac together, it again makes your head pop off and you field dress yourself. It's don't do it. It's weird. You'll just be walking down the street, your head will pop off your body, your chest will come open, and your organs will spill out, and your left hand will jump off.
It's why you sign a waiver when they prescribe it.
It's exactly right. It happens all the time here. The defense also introduces all these medical records reflecting her hospitalization, both for drug and alcohol abuse and for depression. And they attempted to show that Jenny may have died from an overdose of alcohol and Prozac.
Holy hell.
She has no fucking head. Her body is cut from fucking neck to navel.
She's in a grave.
In a fucking
She's underground.
She did not dig that shit herself.
No.
What is happening?
No.
So I'm at this, what do you
do?
Where are we?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? There's a lawyer. There's a guy who went to law school standing in front of a bunch of adult people dressed in nice clothes.
Right.
Their best for fucking court, saying that she could have died that way and that wouldn't be his fault. What?
She could have died in a car accident. Also wouldn't have been his fault.
Oh my, it's ridiculous.
But the fact is that didn't happen.
That's not what happened. Defense expert admits that she had no independent examination or analysis and was only reviewing the other lab's findings. Okay. So at the conclusion here, the jury goes to the jury, and they come back with a verdict.
Yeah.
All sorts of guilty. Yeah. Fuck off. They said, you're just super guilty.
We're rubbing the stank on the guilty.
Bro, is there like a guilty plus some? Like a guilty squared?
Can we give him aggravated guilty?
Like to the third power or something? Can we put a multiplier up there? Is that possible? So I feel like that's the only way this is going to really count the way we want it to.
Can we do malicious guilt? Can we do that? Can we give him that?
Can we give him malicious assholery on top of murder and sexual assault and whatever else?
Is there malicious aggravated assholery guilt? Is that one?
Is that a thing? Well, they find first-degree premeditated murder.
That's it.
And aggravated kidnapping.
That's the one.
We go to the sentencing penalty phase here, and he is absolutely just fucking primely eligible for the death penalty here. Yeah. Just in the
together.
He's right in the trademark, right in the sweet spot. Like if you hit a home run with his death penalty, you wouldn't even feel it in your hands, and you hit a ball real well.
Sails.
Yeah, you're just like, ooh, you hit a golf ball, if you hit it perfect.
Holy shit!
Whoa, did I even get it? Oh, I hit it 300 yards. It's one of those here.
Did I miss? I did not miss it. Right down the fairway. Look at it bounce.
Boom.
Yeah.
So. They talk about all of his previous convictions for assault and battery and intent to commit rape and crimes against nature and felonious sexual battery and assault and battery with intent to ravish and have unlawful carnal knowledge of a female over the age of 12 years old. That's a charge.
Oh, my God. Carnal knowledge. Yeah.
Assault and battery with intent to ravish and have unlawful carnal knowledge of a female over the age of 12 years old. That's was 1976.
Terrible.
That was a charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it had been on the books a long time.
That's a while.
Nobody said ravish in a long time.
It's going to ravish it.
Unless it's Rick Rude.
Unless it's Rick Rude. And then if it is, they go, you know what, Rick? You go for it, mister. You go for it because she looks like she's into it. That's what I'm saying. She actually is. She's coming over to you, Rick. It's fine.
She is.
You're cool.
This is the very first time I've actually seen it. She's asking
She just took her pants off, Rick. She's not only, verbally, she said, Rick, give it to me, please. You beautiful, beautiful man.
She is indeed asking for it.
The state also presents testimony regarding the mutilation of the body. They're like, that'll piss you off, right? They try to get some mitigating evidence in here as well. They talk about how his younger brother was killed in Vietnam, and that was very hard on him. His co-workers all testify that he has good work ethic and he's quiet and kind and has a nice, even temperament. Also, a reverend testified that he had a genuine concern for others and he can make a productive contribution to the prison environment.
I don't care.
I don't give a shit. They brought his mother up there, his minister, all these people. His mother said as a child he lived with his grandparents and didn't complete school because he was always in trouble with the law. She said he was a quiet boy who had very few friends. He had no contact with his father throughout his life. He has been in he spent about 2 years in Central State Hospital for mental problems. And his mother also testifies about how badly he'd taken his younger brother's death in Vietnam and how he even helped her out at home. Now her Coke line he just sits around here drinking Cokes.
Right.
Now he's helping her.
He helps so much.
Helping her. Next, like I said, his coworkers said he's a considerate man. They said that they found his involvement with a murder inconsistent with his behavior that he's exhibited around them, which that means that he hasn't murdered anyone around you.
That says he's good at this.
Yeah, that means
that's even more terrifying.
More terrifying because I would rather have somebody that just always looks murdery.
Right.
Like he just looks like he's going to kill somebody.
Somebody came and sat down and said, was like, I really like the guy. He scared the shit out of me every day. But he was always good at work. We all knew he was guilty of something.
That's something.
We all knew.
Like if you turned out to kill a bunch of people, you're a frightening sociopath because you know what I mean.
I'm
you're
really
nice
good
to
at
people.
blending
you're
in.
really good at it. Yeah. So wow. The minister described him as passive, everything like that. They said that he was interested in the books of the Bible and had a very big openness to learning new things, including how to field dress a human.
Right.
Now they said that he says his pastor says that he doesn't think Jerry would be a threat in prison and he would instead participate and work in educational programs. So they don't think the death penalty is right for him, but the jury decides You, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for you, sir. They go, you know what? We don't really give a shit that he's a nice guy at work.
I don't care.
He's kind of a dick when he's not at work.
So he makes coffee.
Big fucking
dicks,
deal.
sir.
Yeah, I don't care. So he takes the last cup and then refills the pot. Don't care.
Not mine.
Don't give it. He's not. You mean he hasn't murdered, raped, and field dressed a woman at church? Shocking. So that means he's fine.
He put money in your collection plate. That is amazing.
Now, post trial here, they talked to her daughter, who is 20 years old at the time.
Whose daughter?
This is Jenny's daughter.
Oh, no.
We talked to Jenny's daughter, who's 20 years old, and she says that, it wasn't an idyllic life with her mom. Her mom had a drinking problem. Right. She said, quote, "You go through different emotions with parents. Mom certainly wasn't the best parent, but it got to the point right before she was killed. I was in college. It was more of an adult conversation. She knew to come around when things were good and when things were bad, not to not come around at all." She said, despite all the issues, I know she loved us. She wanted to be a good mom. She said that maybe my mom would be alive. Maybe she would have experienced more sobriety. Maybe she would have gotten to meet her son-in-law and future grandkids. No one deserves to be killed in the way my mother was killed, and no family deserves to have constantly to live through the horror as it goes on. So this is obviously they're upset about this whole thing. Now he appeals this. Clearly, it's a death penalty thing here.
It's automatic.
It's automatic here. Now the appeal first is on his main issues are non-change of venue, saying he should have had a change of venue, and he's saying that the two of the jurors, Joy Anderson and Myra Sensing, admitted during their opening juror questioning here, the voir dire of the jurors, that they had some connection with Jenny or her family.
Oh, what the fuck?
So they knew somebody, because that's why you have to have a change of venue, because they have a hospital.
Everybody knows them.
They all know the family. It's a very well known. So many people have worked for them, worked with them, know them from events.
Have a brother that works there.
It's just so much, And what it is this Joy Anderson, her younger brother, was a friend of Jenny's son.
There you go.
So they're connected. It's a small town wherever, whatever. So also the Myra Sensing, her mother's boss from 20 years ago was Jenny's aunt. So there's certain connections. Yeah. Now, despite these facts, though, they both affirmatively stated that their associations would not affect their ability to be impartial, which is bullshit. If I know somebody, or my younger brother was friends with somebody's son and they killed him, I'm like, that guy's a fucking dick. Right. I'm mad. I'm more mad than a juror should be. A juror should be impartial. They should be a flat, this table, man. They should be just
And the
nothing.
other side's true also. If they are friends with that person or associate with them and fucking don't like him, and that guy murdered him and they owed him $2,000 or something, like, good, that guy deserved to be killed.
I want to bring in like 12 people from the Netherlands that don't know any of us or anything that's going on, and they're just aliens, and you put them down and you go, hey, fucking, this is the facts. What do you think? Well, seems logical that this is that. That's it. So, they said they would do that. They said that the appeal court said that they find no reason to believe otherwise, that it would have happened. It was the publicity, another juror, it was the Myra Sensing, the same one of the two. She said she remembered reading that Jerry, quote, had been sent to a psychiatrist and that he wasn't mentally stable before. She said, I think I remember reading that he had been a sex offender before. But she said she does not always believe what she reads in the papers. So she can be fair.
And the other part is, we're about to tell her that he's a sex offender.
But the fact that it has to be told to her in the way that the court allows, not the way that just because newspapers had his whole criminal history. That one said it called the Jerry Davidson file.
Oh no!
And it had all of his arrests, and it was it was laid out.
Can you imagine having that?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And you're looking at that.
Thanks shit I haven't raped and tried to murder and maliciously stabbed anybody.
Even if I'm not up for murder at the moment.
Oh, I don't want
just
that.
Having all that shit
all my
published.
Stats of my worst things that I've done.
My worst days.
Stupidest days and shit like that. But Jerry had already used all of his challenges, so they couldn't challenge her on this basis, and the trial judge chose not to remove her from the panel. So this juror got on here. So now there's like two. She read some shit in the paper, and she's connected to Jenny. So this juror is tainted, in my opinion, very tainted. They said that they do end up saying that the jury still seemed to be impartial, and it's all good, basically. Okay. So either way, there's nothing in there that showed. They said that he had waived his his rights on this particular issue. Because I guess he must. It says he must offer a challenge or offer to challenge additional prospective juror to complain on it. Basically, you have to say something, and they didn't really say anything about it. Now, 2014, there's an appeal for ineffective assistance of counsel. He's saying here that, his convictions have been upheld before. So they're saying he's 71 years old at this point, by the way. Yeah. So they said, in this opinion, it's about mitigating evidence. They're saying that that his attorneys didn't present enough mitigating evidence of his mental illness, basically, because he put a lot of people on the stand. All his coworkers, his fucking priest, his mom. They that's a pretty decent mitigating. What he did is so terrible. Right. That's as best as you can do.
You got to put your closest to you and let them all talk.
Yeah. Apparently they said, though, that they didn't give enough mitigating evidence of his diminished mental functions, and when he was sentenced to the death penalty. And so the court says, appeals court, defense counsel in capital case possessed evidence that their client suffered from severe lifelong cognitive impairments and personality disorders, that he was predisposed to sexual violence. We find that under the circumstances of this case, defense's counsel failure to develop and present psychological mitigation evidence deprived their client of his right to effective assistance of counsel. We uphold the client's conviction. We vacate his death sentence and remand him for new capital sentencing hearing. Okay. So, 2016, this comes about, and it's a new sentencing hearing, and basically everybody ends up agreeing to not go through an entire trial here and do all. Just commute it, and his sentence is commuted to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and then an extra 25 years for kidnapping, which would be served consecutively to his life sentence. So once he's dead, 25 more years of being behind there. It's good. I'm happy about that. He's 72. Yeah. So
it's coming soon.
That's basically it.
Coming this fall, his death.
Yeah, his death. What the state says is they had decided to do it this way and just offer him this because they said he's 72 years old. To resentence him to death, that then starts his appeals process all over. He's going to be dead before the appeals are up, and it's going to be costly to keep saying we're going to execute him when we know he's going to be dead before we can execute him. So what's the point?
We're going to execute him.
Yeah, he's going to die in prison.
Take some time.
It's just he's going to die in his cell before he dies in the chair, basically. So that's fine. The district attorney says that it brings finality to the case because part of this is no more appeals. This is a fucking deal that you made, and that's it. Now, the family, quote, believes Davidson deserves the death penalty, but many of the prosecution's witnesses have also died since then. There's been half the witness list is dead. It's 20 years later. So there's a bunch of dead people. There's people who've moved on, diminished mental capacity, all sorts of dead people. So it would have been a mess of a trial to put on.
Certainly.
Absolutely. And, so they said, quote, today's verdict terminates the appellate process and assures the family and community that Jerry Ray Davidson will remain incarcerated within the Tennessee Department of Corrections until his natural death. So that's good. They included an impact statement from Jenny's daughter, where she said she and her family are in full support of a plea agreement for a life sentence, but they believe the initial death sentence was just and appropriate. Now, they said, quote, only the practical circumstances which would make the defendant unlikely to live long enough to receive the death penalty cause us to ask you to enforce the new sentence of life without plus 20 years. So they said the prosecutor, or the daughter said that Davidson's life sentence will never equate to justice. She's a nurse in Chicago now, the daughter, as of 2016. She said that just the family was very glad to end the 20 years of court proceedings. She says she still has unanswered questions here. She's in court speaking directly to Davidson now. She gets to talk right at him for the first time. And she says She asked him why he picked her mother as a victim, why he cut her head off, and where did he put it. She also, did she suffer, she asked, and did she die quickly, and why did he cut open her body? All questions that you would want to know. Yeah. She says, quote, "These are all questions I never expect you to answer." She talked about all the, birthdays and life events that her kids that she's missed. She says, quote, "His depravity haunts us all," which is an amazing fucking line. At one point, he looked away from her, and she stopped what she was saying and said sternly, quote, "I'm still talking to you." Fuck yeah. Get this motherfucker's attention.
I'm here, sir.
We got all fucking day. Guess what? I'll have them hold your fucking head and look at me if I have to here. Which, I'm still talking to you. She said that she told him she still thinks the death penalty would be appropriate. She referred to him as a monster and said that they agreed to the sentence just to close the case. And she said this sentence will never be totally adequate justice. And she says that she wants Davidson's, quote, "every waking moment to be as miserable as possible." And she believes that he will get what he deserves in the end. And so there he is, rotting away as an elderly man in prison, hopefully having his food stolen from him by younger, tougher inmates and shit like that. That's what I'm hoping.
I have a question for you.
I'm hoping a 25-year-old man face fucks him on a regular basis. Just a huge guy.
While taking half of his food.
But while eating his food. Right. Just face fucks him, knocks all his teeth out first too. I hate this asshole.
Pushing shitty old bologna into his cornbread while he pushes his shitty old bologna into his cornbread face.
Into his whatever the fuck. All of that.
Question.
Yes.
If you do this, let's just say you're a depraved human being.
Okay.
Which do you want, life or death?
I guess life. I don't know.
No.
That's just so complicated, the whole process.
Is it?
It's a hassle. You got to go to court all the time.
I don't know.
All these appeals.
With death?
Yeah,
I don't know. You don't have to. You could just be like, no appeals.
I just don't like the attention. Then I'd have to there'd be a big kerfluffle at the execution.
You could do it quiet.
No, you can't.
I think you could.
No, you'd have to kill yourself in prison, I think.
Well,
is the only
do
way
that.
To go out.
You might be right.
That's the only way to go.
I think I want death.
Otherwise, they're going to
do.
A bunch of people showing up.
I'm too little for that shit.
Reporters are going to have to talk to people. My family's going to show up. It's going to be like Christmas Eve. I can't deal with that. I can't live with that, Jimmy. It's too much.
There with the pumps and the Kool-Aid smeared on my lips.
Yeah, you're too small.
I'm too little. I have Sweet Pea tattooed on my chest.
Yeah, they're going to get you.
It's over.
You're in trouble.
It's not working.
That's rough, man. Yeah. That's a rough thing. I just have to get locked up on the East Coast where there's some Italian guys that I can hang out with. That'd be it, because I'd have a hard time in prison.
It's a wrap for me.
I'm not hanging out with the fucking white supremacist guys, but then I can't hang out with the other guys because they don't want us.
Because I don't look like them.
The fuck am I then? I'm different, guys. Just leave me alone. I just want to be left up by myself. It's not going to work. So that is Dickson, Tennessee, and that is Small Town Murder.
Wowza.
What's an interesting, crazy, goddamn.
I can't believe that's on news.
That's what I mean. That's not a giant story.
There should be 12 podcasts about that.
Crazy. None I could find anyway. I mean, I always look it up to see. I couldn't find any. So I always make sure that we're not copying like another one. So I don't know, whatever. Somebody else did it. You're not popular enough for me to find you. So I don't know. Sorry about that. Get more listeners, and then fucking you'll matter to me.
And then we won't do your shows.
And then we won't. We'll know who you are to look to see if your shows are on there. But otherwise, I don't know. And even if they did, I'm sure they didn't do it this well. Let's be honest here. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
But no, people should have been doing this one. This one, I was like, how did I get this? Right. How do we find this? This is crazy.
There's limbs and missing, and she's field dressed. That's fucking
head in a field
crazy.
Dress. Yeah, the whole thing is nuts. So,
what if they liked it? What can they do?
Well, I think there's a way to tell us. Yeah. One of the ways is you can just go on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, and you can give us 5 stars. That helps a lot. We don't know why. Apple Podcasts, for some reason, those charts, it's like a weird algorithm of listens and new subscribers and reviews, and they put it all in some weird pot and make a fucking burgoo out of it, and that's their charts.
Yeah.
Their charts are podcast burgoo. So it would really spice up the burgoo a little bit if you could give us 5 stars.
Thank you.
Doesn't matter what you say. Say you're following instructions, or these guys are making me do it. It doesn't matter.
It's your paprika.
It's your paprika. Sprinkle it on top of your burgoo. And do that. It really, really does help a lot. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your crime and sports. Listen to Crime and Sports, by the way. How good was Crime Crime and Sports this week.
My favorite.
It's guys, it's just a funny comedy show. Ladies, gentlemen, you don't have to like sports. Yeah. I assure you, you don't have to like sports. Even people would say, oh, well, the stats, there's some stats. Guess what happens in between stats? Yeah. More crime. And then you go, but he had such a good, he's doing so well. That's why we say the stats for 2 minutes and then you get 20 minutes of he's insane.
That's why.
And then 2 more minutes. That's the point. Right. It's because he doesn't have to do it. And
there's no reason.
Frustrating and hilarious. Right. And also too, no one that we cover like in Small Town Murder has the ego of a NFL player that's had $100 million contract. Right. The ego there while you're committing crimes, that gives it a little something special. That's a paprika right there. You know?
There's something about having the quote unquote largest contract ever at the time that makes that man think he's above everything.
And
boy, oh boy, does
and
he.
We've had it a couple times. Yeah. We had it with Doc Gooden. Yep. We had it with the last few weeks, and then we had it this week with Glenn Robinson. Yeah. So it's crazy, man, and crazy crimes, and we had just wild times with it, and we had a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with that. So listen to Crime and Sports, and you can get all your Small Town Murder and Crime and Sports things. We got shirts and bags and bath mats and ringtones. Check out the ringtones. If you want to get a hold of us, just leave a voicemail and we'll listen for questions. We do like on a bonus episode, we'll answer questions, or you want to tell us a Sahara fart fact or a weird town festival that your town has, or just some panhandle behavior that you've seen. You can do that. Leave us a voicemail here at 602-759-0606. I don't know if you're outside of the U.S., if there's country codes or whatever, but I figure you should know that shit, not me.
Ours is +1.
Okay, well then +1.
Yeah.
Then that. So there's that. Find us there. Also, listen to or find us on social media, and you can do that very easily at Murder Small on Twitter, Small Town Pod on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram. And you can find everything there. When we announce new shows for 2020, sometimes, because there's certain cities we announce, like let's say Chicago or Minneapolis this year, we have 950-seat theaters.
Right.
So the tickets sold fast, but they didn't go in 2 days because it's a shitload of tickets. But some of these places, we play a smaller club. If it's a smaller city, or if it's just that's the way the deal works out, they end up putting us, like this week, we're at the Kansas City Improv tonight. Right. It's like 350 people, and it's sold out in a day.
Right.
So some of these shows, they're going to sell out before you hear about them on our show, especially if you're like a week behind. Follow us on social media. We'll announce all the dates that way, and that'll help a lot. And if you're interested in that sort of thing, if not, then don't fucking do it. Either way, though, we don't inundate you with a ton of crap on our social media. We're not like that. We try to just keep it show specific and pretty flowing there. Moving along. And if you want to be one of our heroes, these people, we can't say enough about them. I can't, because they have made our lives completely different. They make it so we can turn down terrible ads that we don't want to do. Yeah. You know how many times they ask us to do dick pills?
Oh,
do you want us to sit here and go, get your dick hard with this? But you don't want that. You know what I mean? They ask us to do like financial service shit. And I'm like, we don't know anything about money. We don't know if this is good. And we're not going to direct our people to something that might be bad for them. And even like they would try to get us to do like the Blue e-cigarettes in the last one. And they forced us into doing one time. And we didn't want to do that. We have fucking kids that listen to this show. As crazy as that sounds, there's like teenagers that listen to this show, and we don't want.
If you want to make bad decisions later in life, that's fine. But I don't want to fucking encourage them.
I'm not going to give you a promo code to do it with. Give you 25% off a bad start. Like, that's not fucking smart. I can't do that shit. So that's what I'm saying. So you guys make it so we don't have to take that bullshit.
Right.
We literally only take ads of things that we think we have a two-pronged thing that it has to go through. Right. A, we have to think it's good. If we don't think it's good, we're not going to put it out, period. We're just not. If I say that's a stupid thing,
believe in the product.
Yeah, we're not doing it. I'm not going to sit here and go, it's really great and you really need it when it's a pile of shit. Right. I'm not going to do that. Neither's Jimmie. And then the second thing is we have to think that you'll be interested in it. We have to think our audience wants that from us. And if it has to go through that process, that's why some shows of our length and that have our amount of listeners, you'll hear a lot more commercials on. It's because we fucking turn down 98% of the commercials because of you guys, because of this list of wonderful people, our producers who help us out. And you can be one of these producers and be one of these heroes who keeps dick pill commercials off of your favorite podcast, you can do that by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports or head over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. You can do that. You can go to both those places right from shutupandgivememurder.com. And by the way, every couple weeks or so, we put out some bonus small town murder, usually about a 35-minute episode, and we do it. The town takes like 5 minutes.
Too long, but it's on Fridays.
But it's always an insane story. It's always as much as you can pack into a half hour. It's always a blockbuster of a half hour show or 35 minutes.
You'll blast through it.
You'll blast through it it's a fast thing. It's I think that's at the $5 level or whatever. But you guys do so
juicy.
much. They're juicy and crazy.
Boy.
And Jimmy, I need to hear it this week. Before I get on this plane to Kansas City, I need to feel good. Tell me about the people who I love this week right now.
This week's executive producers are Chrissy Ann Castaldi back again. Thank you, Chrissy Ann. You're so fantastic.
Thank you.
Christine Conklin, Kristen Wright,
Anybody
Christopher
with a KR in the beginning, KRI or CRI and HRI in the beginning of their name is giving us money.
Terrific.
Thank you.
And then Christopher Dobronsky too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I heard the beginning of that one. I'm like, it's all
Hilda Straley, and then Jordan Bennett and Simon are celebrating their 15-year anniversary. So good for you too. And she's celebrating by coming to our fucking show.
Can't wait.
She's dragging his ass from Canada to come see a live show for their anniversary.
Amazing. Thank you. See you then.
And Simon's such a sweet dude. He's going to compromise his own sanity for something that his wife fucking loves.
That's amazing. Thank you. He does it repeatedly.
He does.
Appreciate it, guys.
Other producers this week are Thomas Smith, Jeremy Phillips, Brian Price, Nicole Turner, who I once fucked her last name up terribly. Turner. I ruined that to like Tacker or some shit.
How you do that?
Amanda Stanford, Aaron Dalton, Talisha Welker, Andrea Webster, Amanda Morrison, Ryan Benner, Jennifer Balla, Nolan Regenweather, Ashley Vio. She sent us a video of her kid spelling.
That's the best. That's a great video.
We're gonna try and use that somewhere.
FUCKOFF. It's the funniest fucking thing in the world.
He's so spelling the pillow. It's so
happily.
Great. Yeah, Carol Braun, who she's been around since like near day one. She's coming to KC. Can't wait to see you, Carol. Daniel Feliciano, fucking Italian, nailed it. Jesse Hartman, Jessica Nottingham, Brittany Herzog, John Austin, Abdul John, Jake McClendon, Kim Radisky. She donated a couple of times. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
David Wiley, Laura Peck, Scott McDonald, Michelle Miller, who drove from Flagstaff to see the show.
Oh yeah, thanks.
She's terrific.
That was cool. Thanks. Nice to see you.
And happy birthday.
Good to meet you. Yeah.
Kiana Urata, Gary Howard, David Monteith, Michelle Kieran, Peyton Meadows, Kennedy Drigger, Deanna Jones, Amy Coleman, Justin Reeder, Dylan Sullivan, Reagan Shaukley, Reagan, thank you very much again. And then Bear Bus Rescue Transport. I'm not sure what that is. If it's not rescuing bears either because it's BARE.
Yeah, okay.
Linda Boardman, Wendy McGath. She donated both ways. Thank you. Thank you, Wendy. Michelle Wallace, Barbara Lamika. Lamka. I don't know what I did. Kyrie Campbell, Shane with no last name, Lauren Demarath, Chloe Carlson, Chelsea Schoaf, and Jordan Schoaf, Dylan Stumpf, Amanda Allen, Brittany Boltman, Ronnie Kumar, Justin Redding, Jennifer Lanciani. God damn it. That's that Italian shit I can't get. Kara Barcroft, Kimberly White, Susan Palmer, Krista Walker, Kim Shang, Sean Turner, Kayleen Kirsch, Dita Vasquez, Hyena Bryant. God damn it. Jacqueline Donaldson, Vroom Vroom, Asia with no last name, Justin Miller, Justin Finley, Josette with an S, no last name, Sonny Johansson, Andrea Johnson, George Alston, Anthony Canella, Blair Durham, Isabella Sorensen, Bonnie Klein, EBJ, Callie Catt, Robin Anderson, Lauren Higby, Camille Mendez, Homestretch, kinda. Danielle Denning, Angela Jones, Kelly O'Connell. God damn it, Kelly O'Connell.
Patrick, the Irish names are tough too, huh?
They're brutal. John Cena's brother Patrick. Dana Conifton. Nope. Mikey Giovanni, Emily Lancaster, Mark Pietrowski. Yep. Ryan Harold, Erica DeBoat, Caitlin Bissell. Fuck. William with no last name. Anastasia. What?
Yeah, it's not Anastasia. Puts you to sleep.
Bergmeyer. Alyssa Nurnberger. Laura Pearl. Lisa Silvignali. Sydney Beadle, Melissa Spears, Casey Locke, Zachary Dickson. Laura Sorwick. Sonic. What is that?
I don't know. You wrote it.
Ryan
Poorly.
with no last name. Kendra Granis. Rihanna Boatwright. Bollard Bow. Zoe. Jacqueline D. No last name, just D. Julia McCormick. Ruth Wheeler. Amanda Maldonado. That's one. It could be either way. I don't know what that is. Melanie Cottingham. Alex Strong. Reagan Dermblef. Derm to play. No.
This is a mess.
Katarina Cagle. Oh, Jesus. That's a brutal last name. Man, that's
yeah.
Katarina pussy push-ups.
Yeah. Pussy flex.
Amanda Phillips, Andrew Bionin, Carol Hayden, Jesse Dugan, Warren Back, Candace Harris, Corey Patterson, Sasha with no last name, Robert with no last name, Nick Todd, Chris Dew, Ashley Brittain, or Britton, it's probably Brittain, Linda Fitch, Julie Michelle Rogers, Stephen Bailey, Brittany Schwind, Laura Otto, Alyssa Mulligan, Spencer Gaynor, Becca and Bobby, Dakota Hawk, HOCQ. Nope, I'm not trying that. I think it's Hawk, right? Hawk. Yeah, Amber Corder, Emily Thompson, Katie Carroll, Samuel Hernandez, and Sala Jaden, and all of our Patreon supporters, of course. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, from the bottom of our cold black hearts. Yeah. We cannot thank you enough for everything you've done, from your donations to getting your tickets and buying T-shirts. And you guys just support the show, and you really make us feel like we should keep coming back and doing it all the time and not stop, basically. So, Jimmy, what if they wanted to thank you or tell you something or call you a dickhead or anything like that? How could they do that?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And not to give you guys too much goddamn credit, but you give it by listening to the show and supporting the live shows like you have. And thank you for selling these out so fast and so consistently. You're also giving us the opportunity to give you guys shows on weekend nights and in good venues, in nice neighborhoods. That by listening to the show and coming to these, you're helping us book better shows in better places. So thank you for all of that. Where can they find you?
Well, if they'd like to decapitate and field dress me, they can find me over at Jimmie P is Funny, or they can copy and paste my last name from the show description and look me up that way. It's a little bit easier. Yeah. Either way, this one's been a goddamn doozy.
Oh boy.
It's been a wild episode, and we have to get on the road. We have to go catch planes and then get back here, but we will be back here next week. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
with a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.